Good afternoon. So last class we had discussed in detail regarding the universe, stars, galaxies, solar system, the planets of solar system, the bodies within the solar system, asteroids, meteoroids, comets, dwarf planets, satellites. So their differences, their characteristics, and also we studied regarding eclipse, different types of eclipse, solar eclipse, lunar eclipse, etc. So any doubts on that part? So all clear? So today let's start with geomorphology. These are the topics of geomorphology which one should be going through, particularly for prelims. Of course, most of the aspects are the required for the prelims point of view. The depth will decide based on the topic to topic, but most of the topics are required to be covered. You have to cover all of them. So we'll start with the very basic ideas of geomorphology regarding the origin of Earth, evolution of Earth, geological time scale, then interior of the Earth, types of rocks, all these very basic aspects. Then we'll come to the Earth's movements, the different types of geomorphic processes, endogenetic, exogenetic, diastrophic, sudden, tectonic, isostatic, geostatic, okay, aggregation, degradation, all of this. The three important theories to explain the endogenetic movements and the major changes which we observe on the surface of Earth in terms of volcanism, geomagnetism, earthquakes, tsunami, all these phenomena. Then the exogenetic movements, and then the different types of landforms created under different types of conditions. Fine. So these are the different topics of geomorphology. So first of all, what is geomorphology? Study of physical features of the Earth. The physical features, when we say study of physical features, what exactly we are going to study about physical features? Their characteristics, their formation, how they are formed, right? The processes involved in the formation, various important changes which they are continuously going through. Okay, so their present, past, present, as well as the future. All these changes which we continuously see on these physical features, that study is what is called as geomorphology. Origin and evolution of the Earth is a topic where we have to go back and see how exactly the Earth was earlier and how it changed over a period of time. Origin we have already covered. The nebular hypothesis gives you an idea how exactly Earth originated. Tell me how it originated. As per the nebular hypothesis, how the Earth originated. Who gave nebular hypothesis? Laplace. Laplace gave nebular hypothesis. Yes. Then what is his idea? क्या बोला था लैप्लेस ने? There was a spinning gaseous cloud. Further contraction. Further contraction caused the faster rate of spinning. faster rate of spinning caused the formation of disk shape. Because of the disk shape, gradually rings of matter will get ejected, right? So in each of the ring, the matter will accumulate, condense to form planets, right? In every ring, there will be only one planet left. So like this, Earth was initially formed from the huge spinning nebula, which was there as from where we have we can see the solar system originated from the same nebula. Okay, so what is the age of Earth? As per the nebular hypothesis, the age of Earth is same as the age of solar system. That is Big Bang happened 13.7 billion years ago. When did the solar system originated? As per the latest numbers, it is 4.56, 4,560 million years ago. This is the latest numbers. That is the age of Earth. So when the Earth originated during that time, Earth was totally hot and volatile ball of mass. It was totally in a hot state because the temperature was obviously very high. Okay, so why the temperature was very high initially? Because all of this matter came from the central part of the nebula where the temperature was obviously reaching, like going in millions, where the sun was actually forming. When that matter got ejected out, it came out and gradually it starts to cool down, right? Right, it is the matter which came out from the center of this nebula through the centrifugal force which got the matter to be thrown away. The second, there was continuous collisions and bombardments. Okay, the collisions caused the friction and release of heat and energy. Okay, various different bodies were colliding against each other. It's because of this there was a very high temperature. It was totally in a hot and volatile state. Volatile state because so the whatever the material which the Earth is made up of, for it to cool down and solidify, it will take time. तब तो इतना strong high temperature था, most of the minerals are in molten state. Most of the rocks are in molten state. In this high temperature, hot and volatile state, everything is all mixed up together. Solid, liquid, gases, all different density material is mixed up together. From that hot and volatile state, the Earth has now a very stable and settled planet, a beautiful planet. Is that right? Earth is considered to be one of the most beautiful planet of the solar system, not only solar system. Across the world, across the universe where we have observed the planets, Earth is considered to be one of the most beautiful planets. That is why it is funnily said Earth is the first Miss Universe. Okay, so because of so blue color, the water and the clouds, it makes it very beautiful looking, good in terms of appearance. इतना सुंदर दिखता है, इतना stable भी है. Over a period of time, it has got evolved. That is what is evolution. Origin, nebular hypothesis. Evolution, the stage by stages changes which have happened in the Earth's interior. That evolution of the Earth can be studied in terms of evolution of the Earth's interior, evolution of the Earth's atmosphere and hydrosphere. Okay, so evolution of the interior and evolution of atmosphere and hydrosphere. Let's talk about the evolution of interior. Initially, the Earth was in a totally hot and volatile state. Okay, so it was totally in a hot and volatile state. From here, as the temperature started to decrease, because over a period of time, since the mass has come out from the sun, the temperature starts to decrease, the heat will start to get released, dissipate hote jayega. During this process, we will see the formation of different material getting separated as per density. This process is called as density separation. So what do you mean by density separation? Yes. Yes. The separation of the material as per the density. Because when it was in a hot and volatile state earlier, every type of material is all mixed up. The high temperature can make all these material to get mixed up irrespective of their density. But as the temperature starts to decrease, the heavier elements will start to sink towards the center. The lighter one will start to come towards the surface. If this was the earth, every type of material is all mixed up in this. Once the temperature starts to cool down, the denser material all start to sink towards the center under the influence of its own gravity. Because of its gravity, it starts to sink towards the center. The lighter elements will come towards the surface. Okay, so बहुत हल्का हल्का lighter elements है ना, तो वो सारा surface के पास में आना शुरू हो जाता है. Over a period of time, towards at the center, the concentration of nickel and iron increases because they are the ones with very heavy, denser, and they are also in higher proportion. Okay, it's because of that the center starts to become denser and denser. Whereas the lighter elements like silica, aluminum, sodium, potassium, okay, so all of these, the lighter ones, all of them move towards the surface. Okay, so all of them come near to the surface. Much more lighter elements. What are further lighter elements? इससे ज़्यादा lighter क्या हो सकता है? Gases. All of these come out of the surface. This kind of separation of the material as per their density is what is called as density separation. Because of the density separation and the loss of heat, okay, so everything is condensing, right? जैसे से density separation हो रहे, heavier elements are sinking towards the center and the lighter ones are coming towards the surface. The heat is being lost. Over a period of time, the earth will condense in size. Condense मतलब size कम होते जाएगा, size reduce होते जाएगा, reduction of size. Differentiation, separation into different layers. The earth will get separated into different layers as per the different type of composition, different type of material present inside. Okay, so earth के अंदर है ना, अलग अलग material के हिसाब से density के हिसाब से अलग अलग layer बनते जाएगा. The innermost layer is what is called as the core. Outermost layer is called as the crust. In between, the intermediate is called as mantle. That separation is called as differentiation. This is how the entire interior structure gets arranged. What are the process through which the earth's interior evolves? First one, density separation, gradually condensation, and then differentiation. Okay? All of this started long time ago, 4,600 million years ago. Okay, approximately if we keep the Earth's age to be 4,600, so वो जब origin हुआ था उसके बाद में ये सारा process शुरू हुआ था. By the time Earth's interior got settled and stable, it was around 4,000 million years ago. 4,600 से 4,000 तक पहुंच गया. Evolution of atmosphere and hydrosphere. When the earth had started to evolve in its interior, in the same time earth's exterior conditions were also continuously changing. When there was this hot and volatile earth, okay, earlier hot and volatile earth, there was a very thin layer of atmosphere was there. इसके साथ में एक बहुत हल्का सा atmosphere था. A very thin layer of atmosphere was there. That atmosphere was called as the primordial atmosphere. It's called as primordial atmosphere. This is the original atmosphere which evolved with the earth. अर्थ के साथ में originate होके आया था. However, due to the strong solar winds, this primordial thin atmosphere gets removed. It will get completely removed. Why? Because this atmosphere was made up of very, very lighter elements. Very lighter elements like hydrogen, helium. The earliest primordial atmosphere was removed by the solar winds because of its very low density. ये तो निकल गया. After that, a secondary atmosphere was formed. Okay, so secondary atmosphere was formed, which later further evolves to the present atmosphere. Earth, overall, if you see the stage by stage, आपको देखना है तो Earth has gone through 3 stages of atmospheric formation. First one came with the origin, that got removed. Then comes another atmosphere that got modified to the present atmosphere. When the earlier atmosphere was removed, during that parallel process, degassing and volcanic eruptions were continuously happening. What is degassing? ये जो gases release होके बाहर आ रहा था ना, during the process of density separation and interior evolution, gases were continuously outpouring onto the surface. The process of outpouring of gases from the Earth's interior is what is called as degassing. Imagine Earth के atmosphere के अंदर जो भी gases है वो पूरा Earth के अंदर से निकल के आया है. Has come from inside. All the gases through the process of degassing. In addition to that, there was also continuous volcanic eruptions going on. Why? Because it was totally hot condition. The interior was so volatile. It was continuously producing magma. अभी तो बहुत ठंडा हो गया तो इसलिए इतना frequently magma eruption नहीं होगा. वो भी होगा, बहुत जगह में होगा because of plate interaction. Otherwise, earlier everywhere the magma was produced. Everywhere huge volcanic eruptions, and one of the major component of volcanic eruption is live चल रहा है क्या? The major component of volcanic eruption is magma. Other than that, gases. कभी-कभी magma कम होता है, gases ज़्यादा होता है, या खाली gases भी आता है. A huge amount of gases come out. One of the important gases comes out during the volcanic eruptions. Carbon dioxide, nitrogen, methane. Most importantly छोड़ दिया आपने. Water vapor. Then oxides of nitrogen, oxides of sulfur. Then methane. ये सारा निकल के आएगा. Okay, all of these accumulate around the earth. Huge amount of gases will accumulate. जो original atmosphere था वो खत्म हो गया, so बड़ा सा thick atmosphere form हुआ था. A thick and dense atmosphere was formed around the earth because of the process of degassing and volcanic eruption. At this stage, the gases which are present inside the earth's atmosphere के अंदर जो gases था ना, they were mainly dominated by carbon dioxide and water vapor. Carbon dioxide, water vapor, methane, ammonia. Okay, so very little oxygen, huge amount of dust particles. ये सारा था. Volcanic eruption से इतना सारा तो निकलता है ना, dust particles, smoke particles, everything. In this, one of the very important characteristic of water is responsible for the changing of atmosphere. Water has this characteristic behavior that at cooler temperature it gets converted into liquid water. At warmer temperature it becomes water vapor. Okay, so जब cool temperature है तो पानी हो जाएगा. That is what is water. Warm temperature तो water vapor हो जाएगा. Originally पहले कौन सा आया था? Water और water vapor? Water vapor. Water vapor is the one which comes out from the earth's interior. पहले there were no water. Okay, so there was water vapor which comes out volcanic eruption के थ्रू, degassing के थ्रू. जब इतना सारा हाई टेम्परेचर होगा वो खाली वाटर वेपर ही रहेगा अर्थ के अंदर भी. ओके, तो और जितना वाटर वेपर निकल के आया था थ्रू द प्रोसेस ऑफ degassing and volcanic eruption, it is very very limited. Earth still has huge amount of water inside, not in the form of liquid water, as a compound. Rocks के अंदर छुपा हुआ है. You melt the rocks, it comes out. That is why whenever the magma comes out, it along with that the water vapor also gets released. Okay, there is a huge amount of water which is present inside the rocks. जो बाहर निकला है बहुत बहुत मिनिमल है. ठीक है, सो जो भी निकल के आ गया वाटर वेपर बन गया था. Okay, there was no water first. Water vapor accumulated in the atmosphere. It has a very important characteristics. If the temperature decreases, water vapor condenses. Condensation is the process of conversion of water vapor into liquid water. Atmosphere के अंदर तो सारा आ गया. Over a period of time that earth is decreasing its temperature, cooling down. Atmosphere is also cooling down. Overall earth जब cool down होगा, सबसे पहले atmosphere ज़्यादा cool down होगा. ये सबसे बाहर है ना, so it cools down faster. Density भी कम है. Atmosphere is cooling down faster than the surface. Because of this, the water vapor will get converted into liquid water. Now this liquid water will come down in the form of rainfall. But as this water comes down, it will easily mix with the carbon dioxide. Water vapor will not mix with the carbon dioxide, whereas water will mix with the carbon dioxide. Water easily absorbs carbon dioxide. There was huge amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. The rainwater will mix the carbon dioxide and it will bring it down. And this water, it falls on the surface and it accumulates on the depressions on the surface. By now, the crust is almost formed. Crust भी over a period of time ऐसे hard होके बाहर का layer hard होते होते बनता है. There were huge depressions on the crust because there was continuous bombardments which had happened due to the meteorites, comets, etc. The water starts to get collected in those depressions. Okay, however, the temperature of the surface is still high. अभी जितना तो बहुत ठंड हो गया, पहले तो बहुत ज़्यादा गर्मी था. The temperature of the surface is still high. Very easily this water will get evaporated again. Okay, very easily this water gets evaporated again. But however, when it comes down, it gets collected in these pools. It will leave the carbon dioxide behind. When you cause the water to evaporate, it's only the pure water which is getting evaporated. It will not take the carbon dioxide along with it. While coming down, it had brought the carbon dioxide. While going back, it will leave the carbon dioxide back. It will go to the same atmosphere. There the temperature is low. There it cools down. Again it gets converted into water. While coming down, again it gets mixed with the carbon dioxide. It will bring it down. There on the surface it accumulates, whereas absorbing the heat from the surface again gets evaporated. This goes on like a continuous cycle. For water, it is a cyclical process. For carbon dioxide, it is a one-way process. Over a period of time, the proportion of carbon dioxide is continuously decreasing. If the proportion of carbon dioxide continuously decreases, temperature of the atmosphere further decreases because carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. If you decrease the proportion of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere will start to decrease its temperature rapidly. That causes faster conversion of water vapor into liquid water because at cooler temperature, condensation happens at faster rate. Now more amount of carbon dioxide is decreased. This goes on like a chain reaction. जितना कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड कम करोगे उतना एटमॉस्फेयर का टेम्परेचर कम होगा, जितना एटमॉस्फेयर का टेम्परेचर कम करोगे उतना कंडेंसेशन ज्यादा होगा, जितना कंडेंसेशन ज्यादा होगा उतना कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड कम होगा. कैन यू सी? This triggers a vicious cycle of chain reaction through which the rainfall is continuously happening and the proportion of carbon dioxide is continuously decreasing. This kind of rainfall will happen for millions of years. Millions of years, literally there was only rainfall, there is nothing else. Imagine. ठीक है? Now all this water will collect on the depressions on the surface of earth. Over a period of time, earth's surface is also decreasing, right? जैसे जैसे surface का temperature decrease होते जा रहे हैं, ये जो rate of evaporation भी decrease होते जाएगा. over a period of time it gets settled. All this water gets collected on the surface of earth, and that is what we call it as oceans. The formations of oceans were complete by 4,000 million years ago. 4,000 MYA is when the oceans were complete. By now, proportion of carbon dioxide as well as water vapor has decreased in the atmosphere. दोनों कम हो गया. What about the oxides of sulfur? It gets mixed with the water again. वो भी नीचे आ जाएगा. Even that gets mixed with the water. Methane gets photodissociated. Photodissociation is the process through which it breaks down. When high energy radiation passes through it, it breaks down. It breaks down into carbon and hydrogen. Carbon merges with oxygen, forms carbon dioxide. Again, it comes down. Hydrogen being very, very light, it escapes into the outer atmosphere. Ammonia again undergoes photodissociation. It breaks down into nitrogen and hydrogen. Okay, hydrogen being very, very light, it gets escaped into the outer atmosphere. It leaves, okay, पूरा निकल जाता है, बहुत हल्का सा है ना. But nitrogen is non-reactive. Reactive, but less reactive. It will continuously accumulate in the atmosphere. Nitrogen नीचे नहीं आएगा easily. Therefore, over a period of time, the proportion of nitrogen increases in the atmosphere. बाकी सारा decrease हो गया. Carbon dioxide decreased, water vapor decreased, methane decreased, sulfur decreased, nitrogen बच गया. That is why right now we have 78% of nitrogen in the atmosphere. However, at this stage, the oxygen is still very, very less. बताया ना? So it nitrogen is very less reactive. Okay, ammonia photodissociation होगा, नाइट्रोजन हाइड्रोजन अलग अलग हो जाएगा, हाइड्रोजन निकल जाएगा, हाइड्रोजन बहुत लाइट है, it escapes into the outer space. Nitrogen, it will not escape. Neither it reacts, neither it forms any compounds very easily. It starts to accumulate. अभी भी ऑक्सीजन बहुत कम है. Okay, so you are in a stage 4,000 million years ago. Okay, so 4,600 से 4,000 तक आ गया. At this stage, the oceans are completely formed. The land is very, very hot because the overall temperature has not come down yet. But ocean is where the conditions are stable. Still, there are intermittent meteorite impacts. Collisions are happening. Okay, land is totally unstable yet. And temperature is very extreme during the daytime. Nighttime, it's very, very cold. Whereas the ocean water is moderate. And that too, not near to the shallow. You have to go into the deeper part of the ocean. Near to the shallow, again, the temperature is there, higher temperature. Okay, volcanic eruptions and meteoritic impact there, they're all still there going on. In the deeper water, there are stable conditions. In these stable conditions, over a long period of time, continuous changes happen inside the water. Different type of minerals form different compounds. Okay, the basic elements like carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, okay, so sulfur, potassium, okay, so all of these are the basic elements. All these elements start to form compounds inside the water in various different combinations. When these different compounds come together, they merge in a very specific manner. Accidentally, a cell is formed. What is a cell? Cell is made up of all these elements in various different compounds only, right? The most primitive cell. A cell can function independently. It can survive independently. It can reproduce itself. That is what is a cell. Okay, it is mere accident. That is what we believe based on the theory of evolution. Theory of evolution says that the life evolved on the surface of earth because of all these changes which has happened over a period of time. वही जो सिंगल सेल सबसे पहले आया था ना, ओवर ए पीरियड ऑफ टाइम वो चेंज होके फिर मल्टी सेलुलर बनेगा, फिर दूसरा ऑर्गेनिज्म से इवॉल्व होते जाएगा. दिस इज द थियरी ऑफ एवोल्यूशन, राइट? So as against many others, people believe who believe that life was dropped on the surface of earth by aliens. Okay, so ऐसे भी सोचते हैं वो उसके लिए तो we don't have any kind of evidence. We believe in the theory of evolution, right? So that first life evolved inside the oceans. That happened somewhere here. The evolution of LUCA. What is this LUCA? Last universal common ancestor. Last universal common ancestor. You go back through evolution, you will end up in the single cell organism which evolved inside the water. All the life on the earth goes back to this single cell. It is the common ancestor for every life on the earth. It's called as last universal common ancestor. It evolved inside the ocean around 3,800 million years ago. It was a single cell, non-photosynthetic, unicellular, non-photosynthetic. It was not having the capacity to produce its own food. वो भी नहीं था उसके पास. फिर खाना कैसे हो रहा था इसका? It was feeding on some of the carbon compounds on the oceanic floor. It was surviving through feeding on the carbon compounds on the oceanic floor. So when this life first arrives on the earth, it was a single cell. It is just capable of reproducing. Okay, so reproduction में क्या होता है? Same cell, same type of genetic material gets copied and a new cell is formed. That is what is reproduction, right? But during that process, initially, it was totally dependent upon the mutation for the characteristics to change. If the exact copy of the genetic material is made, the offspring is also same nature. है ना? So sexual reproduction, asexual reproduction में क्या difference है? Asexual reproduction, exact copy. Earlier, everything was asexual reproduction only, right? It was highly dependent upon the mutation. Mutation में क्या होता है? During this copying, गलती से एक जगह में दूसरी जगह मतलब दूसरी जो genetic code आ गया, okay, जो combination दूसरी code आ गया, तो गलती से आ गया तो नया कैरेक्टर आ गया. ऐसा नया कैरेक्टर evolve होते होते वो dominant हो जाएगा, advantage हो जाएगा, फिर ऐसे वाला ही आगे continue होगा. Because genetic material will decide the characteristics of any organism, right? So गलती से कुछ चेंज हो गया तो एक नया कैरेक्टर आ गया. अगर वो एडवांटेज निकल गया तो वो फिर आगे कंटिन्यू होगा. बिकॉज they have the higher chance of survival, they have the higher chance of reproduction. फिर वो आगे evolve होते जाएगा. That is how the evolution. Initially it was all dependent upon the mutation. It was a very, very slow process. Okay, very, very slow process. 3,800 million years ago is when the LUCA originated, and it took 1,300 million years for it to develop photosynthetic capacity. Photosynthesis is a capacity to produce its own food. ये जो सिंगल सेल ऑर्गेनिज्म था उसके लिए ऐसे evolve होते होते चेंज होते होते इसका जो फोटोसिंथेसिस कैपेसिटी आने में उसको लगा 1,300 million years. By 2,500 million years, we had the evolution of blue-green algae. Blue-green algae is the first photosynthetic organism which evolved on the earth. First photosynthetic organism. Of course, the life is still inside the ocean. Life is still unicellular, very primitive. Primitive, unicellular. Now the situation completely gets changed. 1,300 million years में ज़्यादा कुछ change हुआ ही नहीं है. Oceans are still oceans. Only major changes, temperature has decreased, land has settled, stable हुआ है, crust थोड़ा बहुत hard हुआ है बस, और कुछ नहीं हुआ है. The land is totally barren. Oceans are totally filled with these kind of unicellular organism. वो भी abundant तो नहीं है, इधर उधर ऐसे बस. But एक बार blue green algae आ गया, उनका तो कोई रोक नहीं है अभी. There is no stopping. They start to grow rapidly. Because there are no predators, there is no competition, there is no controlling mechanism. Okay, so they start to grow rapidly. Blue-green algae, they are capable of producing its own food. There is no limitation of food here. उनके लिए कोई किसी का डिपेंडेंट नहीं है. तो ओशन सरफेस छोड़ के बाहर आ गया, सरफेस के मतलब ओशन बॉटम छोड़ के सरफेस के पास में आ गया. ऑफ कोर्स वाटर में ही रहेगा, continuously absorb the sunlight, use the carbon dioxide inside the ocean water. इतना सारा तो carbon dioxide है ही, and water तो है ही, तीनों मिला के बनाओ glucose. They continuously build. During the process of photosynthesis, as a byproduct, it starts to release oxygen. When the oxygen is released inside the water, water quickly absorbs oxygen. पानी तो छोड़ेगा नहीं. Water quickly absorbs the oxygen. Photosynthesis is happening inside the ocean. Okay, so and it is continuously happening. 2500 million years ago is when we have the last confirmed existence of BGA. उसके बाद में for millions of years the photosynthesis is happening inside the ocean water only, and ocean water is continuously absorbing oxygen. वो बाहर छोड़ ही नहीं रहे. एक लेवल के बाद में ocean water gets completely saturated with oxygen. उसके लिए टाइम लगता है a minimum of 500 million years. For 500 million years continuously it is absorbing oxygen. Now the ocean water का पेट भर गया. It can no more absorb oxygen. Now the excess oxygen will start to flood the atmosphere. ये होगा around 2000 million years ago. अभी excess oxygen will start to flood the atmosphere. मतलब atmosphere के अंदर आना शुरू होगा. Atmosphere के अंदर gradually increase होगा. From 2000 million years ago till present, it is still continuing only. That is what is the Great Oxygenation Event. The Great Oxygenation Event involves the release of oxygen through photosynthesis by blue-green algae. First, inside the ocean water between 2500 to 2000 million years ago, and beyond 2000 million years ago, it has started to flood the atmosphere. Till 400 million years, it was continuously releasing. Only BGA was responsible for that. There was nothing else. Very primitive organisms and few other varieties of algae. 400 million years ago, क्या हुआ था? The plants evolved on the land. Plants came on the land very recently, 400 million years ago only. तब तक land was totally barren. Then they started to do photosynthesis on the land. They also contributed towards the release of oxygen. Okay, so that is the present atmosphere. And finally, last but not least, the arrival of human beings into the picture. We are also responsible for changing the composition of atmosphere. We also made changes in the atmosphere. ये भी important component है. Most important change is addition of carbon dioxide. Before the arrival of human beings into the picture, carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere was 300 parts per million. 300 parts per million was the proportion of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. After industrial revolution, right now the proportion of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is 424 parts per million. We have added 33%, more than 33% of naturally existing carbon dioxide. One of the largest proportion of any gas which we have. मतलब एटमॉस्फेयर में जितना proportion है उसका proportion के हिसाब से तो इतना ज़्यादा change तो और कोई नहीं किया है. That is human beings' contribution. In addition to that, we have also depleted the ozone levels. Ozone levels कम किया हमने through ozone depletion. ठीक है? And we have added some more particulate matter, dust particles. ये सारा human beings का contribution. This is the overall evolution of Earth. Any doubts here? Evolution of Earth's interior involves these changes. From the hot and volatile state, through density separation, condensation and differentiation, the Earth's interior evolved into three-layered structure, where everything is settled. The early atmosphere, which had the primordial atmosphere, was very, very light, which was removed through solar winds. Strong solar winds was removed, and then through the process of degassing and volcanic eruption, huge amount of gases accumulated around the Earth, and through condensation of water vapor, the carbon dioxide and water vapor in the atmosphere decreased. Gradually, all this water got collected in the oceans. Over a period of time, temperature decreased. Within the oceans, the last universal common ancestor evolved around 3,800 million years ago, which further evolved into blue-green algae by 2,500 million years ago. Through photosynthesis, it started to release the oxygen into the atmosphere. The oxygen into the oceans. First, it floods the ocean, fills the ocean. Then it starts to flood the atmosphere. Okay, by 2000 million years ago, it starts to flood the atmosphere. By 400 million years ago, the plants will arrive on the land. It will add to the photosynthesis. Okay, and then with the arrival of human beings, we have added more amount of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Yes, crust, mantle and core. So any doubts here? ठीक है. Next topic, geological time scale. Geological time scale is a important topic for prelims, directly as well as indirectly. You can expect a direct questions on this, on the events, different type of events which have happened in the geological past. Okay, different events which have happened geological past, the chronology, the events. Indirectly, it is going to be helpful to understand the overall geography and the processes involved here. कैसे connectivity करना है, ये geological time के लिए important है, and इससे ज़्यादा geography से ज़्यादा ये environment के लिए important है. To understand the evolution of life on the earth, the biodiversity on the earth, the different forms of life on the earth. ठीक है? So usually मैं इसको skip कर देता हूँ. एनवायरनमेंट में कवर हो जाता है. इस बार तो थोड़ा सा टाइम शॉर्टेज की वजह से आई एम नॉट टेकिंग एनवायरनमेंट. ओके, सो आई विल कवर दिस हियर. सो जो भी एनवायरनमेंट लेंगे तो वो अपनी तरफ से कवर करेंगे. ठीक है, सो जियोलॉजिकल टाइम्स के लिए यहीं पे कवर कर लेते हैं. लेट्स डू दैट. इट विल बी हेल्पफुल फॉर यू इन योर एनवायरनमेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड द ओवरऑल एवोल्यूशन ऑफ लाइफ. So geological time scale is basically it's like a chronology of events which are happening on the surface of earth from its origin. Only issue is that it is very difficult to imagine the human time scale. Human time scale is very, very short. Human time scale is very, very short. When did human beings arrive on the surface of earth? Biologically बताएं. Human beings arrived on the earth biologically in the last 2 million years. Last 2 million years में हमारा evolution भी हुआ है और changes भी हुआ है. फिर Homo sapiens finally survive हो गया. That happened in the last 2 million years. Till 10,000 BC, human beings were just one of the animals. Based on the evidences which we have right now, there are few research which says that there were more intelligent species, more intelligent civilizations था, वो खत्म हो गया, फिर further evolution हुआ था. ये सारा बहुत सारा कहानी है, वो सब छोड़ो. जितना अभी जो टेक्स्ट बुक्स academics universities recognize करता है ना, based on the present recognition of events, the oldest history of human beings जहाँ पर हम as a intelligent species we have started to live, that was around 10,000 BC. Okay, so more specifically 11,700 years ago. In the last 11,700 years only we have remained as a intelligent species on the earth, who are like different from the other wild species, other animal species or any other species. 11,700 years is the history of human beings. उसमें भी क्या है, मेजर चीजें हमें बिल्कुल आइडिया ही नहीं है क्या हुआ था. We just talk about the stone ages. Okay, stone ages कैसे डिवाइड करते हैं हम? Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic. Lithic is stone age. Old stone age, middle stone age, new stone age. Paleolithic was 11,700 years ago. Okay, फिर आता है middle stone age, फिर new stone age. फिर आता है Chalcolithic, when we started to use copper. Then comes the iron age, Vedic time, है ना. तो ये हमारा ह्यूमन बीइंग्स का हिस्ट्री है. इसके बीच में अराउंड 5,000 ईयर्स अगो पिरामिड्स बना था. वो कैसे बना था अभी भी वो मिस्ट्री है. बहुत सारा कहानी है उसके ऊपर भी. देन अराउंड 4000 ईयर्स एगो इंडस वैली सिविलाइजेशन, मेसोपोटामियन सिविलाइजेशन, ये सारा सिविलाइजेशन बना था, ठीक है। फिर दैट वाज अराउंड 4000 ईयर्स एगो। देन 3000 ईयर्स एगो इज व्हेन वी हैड द वैदिक कल्चर। ओके, सो दैट इज इन हिंदू कल्चर, हिंदू इसमें इंडियन हिस्ट्री में हम बोलते हैं महाभारत का टाइम था। ओके, सो उसके बाद में थोड़ा बहुत किंगडम्स एवॉल्व होते जाएगा। ओके, द किंगडम्स, लार्ज साइज किंगडम्स विल स्टार्ट टू एवॉल्व। सो स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम द एंशिएंट हिस्ट्री। एंशिएंट हिस्ट्री इज लाइक वही तो मौर्यन से शुरू होता है ना, मौर्यन से शुरू होता है। सो फिर आते हैं गुप्तास, ओके, सो फिर महाजनपदास, है ना, तो ये सारा आएगा एंशिएंट में आएगा। फिर आता है मिडेवल, सल्तनत, मुगल, ओके, फिर आते हैं मॉडर्न टाइम्स। ओके, मॉडर्न टाइम्स, ये सारा ह्यूमन हिस्ट्री है। मॉडर्न टाइम्स में भी लास्ट 200 years इज द मेजर changes which we have made technologically after industrial revolution, last 200 years, right? This is not even a fraction of second for earth. This is not even a fraction of second for the earth. Okay, जितना कुछ हुआ है, मैंने जितना कहानी बताया, it is not even a fraction of second for the earth. Okay, there is a very interesting comparison here. अर्थ का जो हिस्ट्री है, जैसे ह्यूमन हिस्ट्री मैंने बताया, अर्थ का भी खुद का भी हिस्ट्री है, ओवर ए पीरियड ऑफ टाइम इट हैज अंडरवेंट चेंज, राइट? इफ यू पुट द अर्थ हिस्ट्री इन 1 year, ह्यूमन कैलेंडर में 1 साल में हमने मान लो फिट कर दिया। ओके, द एंटायर अर्थ हिस्ट्री, व्हाट इज द एंटायर अर्थ हिस्ट्री? 4600 million years. This is the history of earth. Major part of the earth's history was like there was no life on the earth. था, ओशन के अंदर था, बिल्कुल नॉन एग्जिस्टेंट टाइप था, तो अपने आपस में था। द मेजर प्रेजेंस ऑफ लाइफ ऑन द अर्थ विच स्टार्टेड टू इम्पैक्ट द अर्थ इटसेल्फ, दैट वाज अराउंड 570 million years ago. वहां से शुरू हुआ है 570 million years ago. इन 4500 4600 में 4000 तो पूरा के पूरा खाली ही है। एक ही बीजीए था, वो अपने आप बहुत आराम से फोटोसिंथेसिस करते जा रहे हैं और कुछ नहीं हो रहा है, ठीक है। इसका मतलब इन द 12 months ऑफ कैलेंडर, मतलब हम 4600 को एक कैलेंडर 12 years में बिता रहे हैं ना, इन द 12 months ऑफ कैलेंडर ईयर 10 months तो कुछ हुआ ही नहीं। 10 months बिल्कुल खाली था, अर्थ वॉज वेरी हैप्पी, देयर वाज नो लाइफ ऑन द अर्थ। ओके, तो ठीक है। लास्ट 2 months में मैक्सिमम लाइफ इवॉल्व हुआ है, दैट इज द टाइम विच वी कॉल इट एज द मॉडर्न लाइफ। Okay, the abundance of life which we put here, यहां से आएगा Phanerozoic. 570 million years is the time of the life on the earth. 4000 million years ज्यादा कुछ हुआ ही नहीं। वो भी लास्ट 2 months में सबसे ज्यादा चेंजेस तो लास्ट 20 days में हुआ है। It was around December 15th is when the dinosaurs roamed on the earth. Okay, dinosaurs roamed on the earth by around December 15th. By December 20 के आसपास वो भी खत्म हो गया, ठीक है। Human beings arrived in the scene in the evening of December 31st. Okay, last 2 million years में हमारा अराइवल हुआ है, बायोलॉजिकल एवोल्यूशन होना शुरू हुआ है in the evening of December 31st. And all the people who are present right now on the surface of earth were born on the last millisecond of the calendar. December 31st 11:59, 59 के बाद में जो millisecond आता है ना, तब हमारा जन्म हुआ है, and before it goes into 12 o'clock all of us will be gone. That is the time scale of human beings. Just a fraction of second. बहुत बहुत मिनिमल है। जो लास्ट 200 years में हम इतना कुछ चेंज कर दिया ना, अर्थ के लिए 1 second भी नहीं है वो। So it is very very difficult to so understand the geological history in the human time scale. Human time scale में समझना ही बहुत मुश्किल है। And even with that, we have changed a lot on the surface of Earth. We have added so much of carbon dioxide, 300 को 424 तक लेके आ गया carbon dioxide. Okay, so that is changing the nature of the earth, nature of the atmosphere. To such an extent, it will start to impact the human life only. So to make things easier, we have made a system of study here. The geological time scale is based on the divisions. The divisions first you have to remember. The largest division of geological time scale is what is called as eon. Okay, the largest division of the calendar geological time scale is what is called as eon. 1 eon is approximately 1000 million years. Approximately बता रहा हूँ, 1000 भी हो सकता है, 1500 भी हो सकता है. Okay, approximately 1000 million years is 1 eon. Eon is further divided into era. One era is approximately 200 to 250 million years. 200 to 250 million year is one era. So please remember this next time when you say end of an era. Era is further divided into period. A period is approximately around 40 to 50 million years. One period is 40 to 50 million years. Period is further divided into epoch. Epoch is approximately 8 to 10 million year is one epoch. 8 to 10 million years. Epoch is further divided into the last division of age. सबसे छोटा division है age. One age is approximately 4000 years. 4000 years को one age बुलाता है. Okay, पहले इसको याद रख लो. The largest division is eon. Eon is divided into era. Era into period. Period into epoch. Epoch into age. The earth has gone through 4 eons till now. अभी तक 4 eons हुआ है. The first eon is the Hadean eon. Hadean. The second eon is the Archean eon. The third eon was the Proterozoic. The fourth one is Phanerozoic. Hadean, Archean, Proterozoic, Phanerozoic. Okay, let's make a table. इसको थोड़ा सा और बड़ा करते रुकिए. You can make a simple table like this. एक सिंपल सा टेबल बनाओ ऐसे कॉलम. Okay, so use multiple columns. तो फर्स्ट वन इज eon. यहाँ पर ऐसे टेबल बना के दिखाता हूँ, आप फिल करते जाना, जैसे मैं बताते जाऊंगा आप फिल करते जाओ. देयर आर 4 eons, राइट. फर्स्ट 3 eons में ज़्यादा कुछ मेजर चेंज नहीं हुआ है. वी डोंट हैव एनी सब डिविजन्स. यू कैन जस्ट कीप इट यूनिफॉर्म. देन दिस इज सब डिवाइडेड. जब सब डिवाइड होगा तब डिवाइड कर लेना. ओके, सो eon इज डिवाइडेड इनटू era. Okay, the present eon is divided into 3 eras. Okay, 3 era ऐसे. So each era is divided into periods. The first era is divided into 6 periods. Second era is divided into 3 periods. The third era is divided into 2 periods. सारा पीरियड्स डिवाइड नहीं करते, ओनली द लास्ट पीरियड्स आर डिवाइडेड फर्दर इनटू एपोक्स एंड एज. Okay, quaternary period is divided into two epoch, प्लीस्टोसीन एंड होलोसीन एपोक. ओके, ऐसा डिवाइड कर लो, इसके बगल में इवेंट लिख देना, डिवीजन एंड देन इवेंट्स. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पर मैं बताऊंगा, इसी के ऊपर मैं दिखाएगा, तो आप लिख लेना. सारा नंबर्स लिखने का जरूरी नहीं है, जो मैं बताऊंगा बस उतना ही लिखना है आपको. See here. We have 3 eons: Hadean, Archean, Proterozoic, Phanerozoic. Hadean starts at 4600 to 4000. This is what is Hadean. 4000 to 2500 is Archean. Okay, let me write here. $4,000 तक होगा Hadean. 4000 to 2500 is Archean. 2500 to 570 is Proterozoic. 570 to present. Okay, this is present. We are in Phanerozoic. ठीक है, पहले इन तीनों कवर कर लेते हैं. रुको, इसमें द प्रॉब्लम इज बहुत सारे चेंजेस तो हुआ होगा बट हमें पता नहीं है. We have less evidence regarding the changes that have happened here. What are the major conformations? Major changes that have happened during the Hadean, Archean and Proterozoic. Hadean is the time of evolution of Earth. Earth's interior evolution, atmospheric evolution, as well as hydrosphere evolution. ओके, इंटीरियर एवोल्यूशन हुआ था ना, तो जो भी था प्रोसेस ऑफ डिफरेंशिएशन, डेंसिटी सेपरेशन, कंडेंसेशन, एंड देन डीगैसिंग, वोल्केनिक इरप्शन, रिमूवल ऑफ प्रिमोडियल अर्थ, प्रिमोडियल एटमॉस्फेयर. ओके, सो एंड द कंडेंसेशन एंड फॉर्मेशन ऑफ ओशन, ये सारा हेडियन में ही हुआ था. ठीक है. आर्कियन, एवोल्यूशन ऑफ लूका. ओके, सो एवोल्यूशन ऑफ लूका and then blue green algae. Major तो यही है. This is what is Archean. By the end of Archean we have the confirmed existence of BGA. Okay, confirmed existence of BGA is by the end of Archean, इसलिए 2500 वहां पर खत्म कर देते हैं. From 2500 to 570 is when we have the evolution of this blue green algae, the single cell organism into multicellular organism. Evolution of multicellular organism कैसे evolve हुआ था? देखो, सबसे प्रिमिटिव तो बीजीए, उससे प्रिमिटिव लूका था, बीजीए आ गया. बीजीए के बाद में a single cell will start to function in the form of multiple cell. What is the advantage of a multicellular organism? Strength, survival rate, हायर चांस ऑफ कैप्चरिंग फूड. सिंगल सेल में तो कम होता है. वो कैसे इवॉल्व होगा? इनिशियली 2 cells of the same nature or multiple cells of the same nature will start to live together as a colony. Okay, all of these are individuals but they live together as a colony and they function together as a single organism. It's not a multicellular organism, it's like a pseudo organism. Gradually then they start to function together. साथ में काम करना शुरू हो जाते हैं, फिर पता चलता है साथ में रहना है तो अच्छा है, ज़्यादा खाना मिलेगा, ज़्यादा सर्वाइवल रेट है. Okay, so then they start to evolve together. All the cells will function as a part of a single body. That is what is multicellular organism. Multicellular organism will further evolve into multi-organ organism. Multi-organ में क्या होता है? It will develop a specialized organ. Initially, all the cells will function the same function. सबका same function ही रहेगा. Gradually, certain cells will start to function. It will develop a different function. It will develop a different way. Specialization is good. Like it will give more strength. Which is the first multicellular specialized cells रहते हुए जो बॉडी जो ऑर्गेनिज्म जो evolve हुआ था कौन सा है? From unicellular to multicellular आ गया. That was around 1000 million years ago. We had the first evolution of multi-organ organism. ये अभी भी है. This organism is still there. सबसे प्रिमिटिव है. इससे प्रिमिटिव तो आप गए तो आपको खाली वही सिंगल सेल जैसे ही दिखता है या कॉलोनी जैसे दिखता है. जेलीफिश. Jellyfish evolved around 1000 million years ago. It evolved around 1000 million years ago. ठीक है, अभी भी है. Okay, इसमें ज़्यादा कुछ jellyfish, of course, I hope you guys know about jellyfish. Just assuming that you know about jellyfish, let me just show. Jellyfish is not actually a fish. ये है jellyfish. So very primitive, but you can see there are specialized cells. The most important function of this specialized cell is to cause sting. You go near to the jellyfish, it will release certain hormones, certain chemicals which will have a stinging effect. थोड़ा सा जलता है. हमारे ऊपर तो थोड़ा सा जलेगा, but microorganism छोटा छोटा organism तो वो मर जाएगा. And it will eat. They are predators. Jellyfish, they are predators. Environment में ये सारा questions आने लगा है. Different group of organisms. Predators कौन सा है, decomposers कौन सा है, इसका नाम कौन सी ग्रुप में है, ये इंसेक्ट है, बर्ड है, एनिमल है, रेप्टाइल है. एवोल्यूशन के थ्रू याद रख लेना, बहुत ईजी है. ट्राई टू रिमेंबर देयर ग्रुप्स थ्रू एवोल्यूशन ऑफ डिफरेंट फंक्शंस, तो बहुत ईजिली आप याद हो जाएगा. Jellyfish evolved around 1000 million years ago. Okay, they specialized cells of causing this sting. This is the most primitive nervous system. सबसे प्रिमिटिव नर्वस सिस्टम था. ग्रेजुअली एवॉल्व होके नर्वस सिस्टम डेवलप होते हैं इन अदर ऑर्गेनिजम्स. ठीक है. एंड देन कम्स अदर ऑर्गेनिजम्स. मोस्ट ऑफ दीज आर लाइक दे आर सॉफ्ट बॉडीड. दे गेट फिक्स्ड ऑन द ओशनिक फ्लोर. दे आर नॉट केपेबल ऑफ मूवमेंट नहीं होता है इनका. दे डोंट हैव एनी फिन्स. ये सारा evolve होते जाएगा. From jellyfish they further evolves into these organisms, but most of these are soft-bodied marine invertebrates. Okay, they are marine invertebrates. Example, corals. Corals देखा है, इतना soft body होता है उसका, तो चलना भी नहीं आता है उसको. Only special function is its tentacles. It has a capacity to absorb the water continuously and release the water continuously. Continuously पानी पीते रहता है. पानी क्यों पीता है? पानी के अंदर न्यूट्रिएंट्स रहता है. They are called as filter feeders. They are the ones which are called as filter feeders. They filter the water and feed. They let the water to pass through their specialized organs, and during that process it captures the food inside the water. Coral is an example of filter feeders. ठीक है, ऐसे एनिमल्स, ये सारा प्रिमिटिव एनिमल्स एवॉल्व हुआ था. कौन से टाइम में? Proterozoic. Okay, what kind of animals were there? Proterozoic, soft-bodied marine invertebrates. Okay, there were no hard bodies. Okay, तो ये है corals और sea pens. Have you heard of sea pens? ये sea pens. Sponges. They're all animals which are living on the oceanic floor. They're all filter feeders. Very, very primitive organisms. 1 or 2 स्पेशलाइज्ड ऑर्गन्स ही रहेगा, इसका ज़्यादा कुछ माउथ पार्ट्स भी नहीं होगा. ओके, सो दे डोंट हैव अपेंडेजेस, दे डोंट हैव लेग्स, दे डोंट हैव the wings, they don't have fins, nothing. Very very primitive organism. ये सारा Phanerozoic का characteristics है. Okay, so they live on the oceanic floor. Maximum jellyfish was the only one which is capable of moving. वो भी active movement नहीं है, वो passive movement है. Just push the water and go. ऐसे. They are not capable of movement. फ्लोर के ऊपर रहता है, डीप ओशन नहीं बता रहा मैं, फ्लोर के ऊपर रहता है बस. दे आर प्रेजेंट ऑन द फ्लोर, नॉट नेसेसरली डीप ओशन. ठीक है. सम ऑफ देम डेवलप्स ए कैरेक्टरिस्टिक टू सपोर्ट देयर बॉडी, टू प्रोटेक्ट देयर बॉडी बाय सेक्रेटिंग लाइमस्टोन. फॉर एग्जांपल कोरल रीफ सॉफ्ट बॉडी है, बॉडी के अराउंड एक प्रोटेक्शन लेयर बनाएगा, वो सेक्रेट करता है. इट सेक्रेट लाइमस्टोन एंड protects their body. It's like a exoskeleton. It is not a true skeleton, it is exoskeleton. बाहर का एक protection layer है बस. यहाँ से उनको आइडिया लगना शुरू हो गया था, we need some kind of strengthening of body. Gradually evolution आएगा. So all of this, Proterozoic is soft-bodied marine invertebrates. Okay, soft-bodied marine invertebrates. Now you enter Phanerozoic. Phanerozoic is divided into 3 eras. There is no subdivision of these 3. Hadean, Archean, Proterozoic का subdivision नहीं है. इनफैक्ट सबको मिला के हम बोलते हैं इसको प्रीकेम्ब्रियन. Phanerozoic is divided into 3 era. What are they? Paleozoic, Mesozoic, Cenozoic. Paleozoic, Mesozoic and Cenozoic. Paleo means old, Meso means middle, Ceno is new. Zoic is life. Paleozoic, old life, Mesozoic, middle life, Cenozoic, new life. But overall it is life. Phanerozoic is the eon of life. Earlier also there was life, but it was not at all dominant. It had not much impact on the earth. Now the earth is totally dominated by the presence of life. The Phanerozoic begins with the Paleozoic. Paleozoic शुरू होता है 570 million years ago. $570 million years ago. From 570 up to approximately 250, 245 है, 250 राउंड फिगर करके याद रख लो, काफी है. That is Paleozoic. देखो Phanerozoic is abundance of life, abundant life है, but life का अलग अलग फॉर्म होगा. This is old form of life, primitive form of life. This is a middle form of life. This is a new form of life. तीनों में abundance है. That is a common thing. Old life but still abundant. ठीक है. Paleozoic was between 570 to 250. It is divided into 6 periods. You need to remember these periods. Direct question can be expected here. Okay, तो evolution को याद रखने के लिए भी ये काम आएगा आपको. The first period of Paleozoic is called as Cambrian. Okay, ये सारा terms है ना, तो वो जो जैसे जैसे टाइमलाइन को डिवाइड करते गए वैसे वैसे अपने इच्छा से रखे गए हैं. समटाइम्स दे आर नेम्ड आफ्टर द रीजन, समटाइम्स दे आर नेम्ड आफ्टर ए पर्टिकुलर ट्राइब्स, ओके, पर्टिकुलर ग्रुप्स, ओके, समटाइम्स माउंटेन्स. कैम्ब्रिया इज ए रीजन इन यूके. ओके, सो कैम्ब्रिया. देवॉन इज ए ग्रुप ऑफ ट्राइब्स. पर्म इज ए रीजन ऑफ रशिया. अपने इच्छे से नाम रखे गए इन लोगों ने. सबसे पहले शुरू होता है कैम्ब्रियन. कैम्ब्रियन एग्जैक्ट टाइम याद रखने का जरूरी नहीं है, ओवरऑल याद रखो फ्रॉम हियर टू हियर. इन बिटवीन देयर आर 6 पीरियड्स: कैम्ब्रियन, ऑर्डोविसियन, सिलूरियन, देवोनियन, कार्बोनिफरस एंड पर्मियन. कैम्ब्रियन कैम्ब्रियन के पहले कैसे था? द लाइफ वॉज मराइन इनवर्टिब्रेट सॉफ्ट बॉडीड, अभी भी वैसे ही है. कैम्ब्रियन इज ऑल्सो मराइन इनवर्टिब्रेट सॉफ्ट बॉडीड ओनली, बट व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस? abundance of life. The life has started to rapidly increase in numbers. Okay, so it has started to rapidly increase in numbers. This is what is called as Cambrian explosion of life. Okay, so कैम्ब्रिया आता ही है, जब फॉसिल एविडेंस हम निकालते हैं ना, तो कैम्ब्रिया टाइम आता ही हमें सडनली फॉसिल्स इतना मिल जाता है. So that is why we call it as a Cambrian explosion of life. Before that the life was limited only. जो भी था वैसे ही है, मरीन इनवर्टिब्रेट सॉफ्ट बॉडीड ओनली. इसीलिए हम सारा मिला के प्री कैम्ब्रियन बोलते हैं. द फर्स्ट पीरियड ऑफ द पेलियोजोइक इज कैम्ब्रियन, सो इट इज नेम्ड आफ्टर दिस ओनली. सबके इसके पहले वाला जो भी है, इट्स ऑल ऑफ देम टुगेदर इज कॉल्ड एज प्री कैम्ब्रियन. अनदर स्पेशलिटी ऑफ कैम्ब्रियन इज द अराइवल ऑफ arthropods. What are arthropods? Arthropods are the largest group of animals. Particularly inside arthropods there are insects. Insects are the largest group of animals on the surface of earth in terms of numbers. They are also one of the most successful group of animals. सबसे successful group यही है, insects. ये कैम्ब्रिया में हुआ था. कैम्ब्रियन एक्सप्लोजन ऑफ लाइफ इन्वॉल्व दिस आर्थ्रोपॉड्स. ओके, तो आर्थ्रोपॉड्स का स्पेशलिटी क्या है? दे आर नॉट वर्टिब्रेट्स. आर्थ्रोपॉड्स आर नॉट वर्टिब्रेट्स. ओके, सो आर्थ्रोपॉड्स का स्पेशलिटी क्या है? दे हैव लेग्स, jointed body parts which enables them to move easily. Okay, that is what is arthropods. Jointed body parts होता है ना. insects देखा है? insects को देखा है? they are all jointed body parts. they are not vertebrates. they don't have a hard bone. body के अंदर hard bone नहीं है. they are soft body only, but they have exoskeleton. जो कोरल में जो कैरेक्टरिस्टिक एवॉल्व हुआ था ना सेक्रेशन का, वो अपने आप बाय बर्थ एवॉल्व होके आ गया. They don't have to secrete. By birth, they have an exoskeleton around their body. Sara, all of them, they are called as arthropods. उसमें अलग अलग ग्रुप है. One of the most successful one is insects. Insects, so you have no idea how large and how big the size of the insect groups. Okay, so what is the common characteristics of insects? Sectional body, then 3 segments. Head, thorax and abdomen, and every insect has 6 legs. है ना? Every insect has 6 legs, and some of them will have wings, 1 or 2 pairs of wings, right? And insects are the highly diversified group of organisms. Highly diversified group of organisms and one of the most successful group of organisms. Most successful कैसे बताएंगे हम? In terms of their number. You know about their abundance? For every one animal which lives on the surface of earth, there is 1 billion insect. For every one animal, animal के अंदर सारा rest of the other group include कर दो. For every one animal lives on the earth, there are 1 billion insects. बाकी सारा खत्म हो गया तो insects बच जाएगा. इतने सारे numbers हैं. They have gone through 5 mass extinctions. They have survived. Insect groups evolve हुआ था कैम्ब्रियन में. उसके साथ में evolve हुआ था mollusk. What are mollusk? mollusk का एग्जाम्पल बताएं. octopus, squids, है ना? they are all mollusk. mollusk has a outer shell around them. पूरा प्रॉपर शेल रहता है, राइट? यहीं पे आया था. अभी भी हार्ड स्केलेटन नहीं आया. द हार्ड स्केलेटन, दैट इज वर्टिब्रेट्स, कम इनटू पिक्चर हियर इन ऑर्डोविसियन. ऑर्डोविसियन, अराइवल ऑफ वर्टिब्रेट्स. What is the advantage of vertebrates? Skeletal body. Skeletal body is a strong body. It can survive the nature's odds, higher survival rates. And easy movement, precise movement. Which is the first vertebrate to arrive in the picture? Fish, of course. Fish is known for the most precise movement compared to any other aquatic animals. सबसे precise movement है. इसके बोलो moving precisely. It is the vertebral column is responsible for that. It brings stability in the body. And most importantly, vertebral column के साथ में आते हैं jaws. It enables the animals to catch prey very easily. Jaws will also come. Jaws will enable easy catch of prey, easily food available. Vertebral columns enables easy movement, easy survival, longer rate of survival, better chance of survival. They start to become more in numbers. They become one of the most dominant group of organisms in the time of Ordovician. Arrival of first fish. You know, when this evolution is happening, we believe in the Charles Darwin theory of evolution, right? What is Charles Darwin theory of evolution? Survival of the fittest. Why? Why only the fittest survive? What do you mean by fittest? Strong body is fittest. Capacity to adapt. Capacity to adapt, capacity to survive. Right? See, basically, तो वही मैंने बताया. So initially it was all asexual reproduction, right? So the genetic combination was as it is copied to the offsprings. During that, if there is a random change, then only the new characteristics will arrive and new species will gradually evolve like that over a long period of time. जब sexual reproduction आएगा, फिर थोड़ा सा कहानी change होगा. Because offsprings will not exact copies of the parents. Okay, so evolution happens at a faster rate. Evolution जब change होते जाएगा, so when some of the individuals develop advantageous characteristics, these advantageous characteristics enable them to eat better, live better, reproduce better. Their characteristics will carry on. Weaker characteristics will get removed from the entire picture itself. जो weaker characteristics है वो खत्म ही हो जाएगा क्योंकि उनका survival rate ही कम है. Only advantageous characteristics will have higher chance of getting food, higher chance of getting mate. They survive more. Nature का role है. Right? This is happening over there. Now, during this process, we are thinking this evolution is bringing the advantageous traits. Okay. So evolution के साथ साथ में animals also have a tendency of adapting into the difficult conditions. Okay, when we adapt to the difficult conditions, we see to whatever the surrounding challenges are there, accordingly we will try to change ourselves. Okay, so there comes two types of challenges. One is the competition. The competition among the group itself is a major challenge. To overcome the competition, we adapt. We try to go ahead of competition. Okay, so there are large number of herbivores, there are many carnivores. बहुत सारा carnivores है. In that group of carnivores, one which is capable of running faster will get easy food. जिनका बहुत easily दौड़ने का जो capacity था वो survive होना शुरू हो गया, वही है हमारा चीता. है ना? So that is to win the competition, to get the food easier. So you develop some advantageous traits. That is what is adaptation. Over a period of time you change. Adaptation is not only for the competition. Adaptation is also required to win over the environment. Because environment will also pose certain strict conditions. Okay, so it makes the survival itself is difficult. For example, cold conditions. To survive in cold condition, you need to have a thick fur. Right? To survive in mountainous area, you need to have that capacity to climb faster. To survive in grassland, to run faster. So that is advantages. So the environment will also pose certain conditions. Whoever wins that, they survive and evolve. Sometimes environment makes the condition so difficult to survive. Most of the life will go extinct. The conditions become so difficult to survive, most of the life will go extinct. If more than 70% of the life goes extinct within a short period of time, that event is what is called as mass extinction. इसी को हम बोलते हैं mass extinction. But mass extinction is a kind of litmus test which nature will pose. Okay, life evolve होते आ रहे हैं, तो अर्थ इज थिंकिंग चलो बोर हो रहे हैं, थोड़ा सा इनको चेक करते हैं कितना दम है इसके अंदर. It will make the conditions for the survival very, very difficult. Only those which are fittest will pass through this. But as they pass, these advantages traits will enable faster evolution of life. जो weaker है सारा निकल गया ना रेस से, faster evolution ज़्यादा होगा और diversify होगा. Okay, so life will start to diversify much faster. Like this, mass extinctions are also one of the important event which will influence the evolution of life. Mass extinction is an event where more than 70% of the life has gone extinct in a short period of time. The first mass extinction was recorded here at the end of Ordovician. The first mass extinction event. End of Ordovician is first mass extinction. We are not very sure what caused this mass extinction. Most accepted reason is volcanism. Large scale volcanism released huge amount of dust particles. Okay, so huge amount of dust particles and the particulate matter which caused blocking of sunlight. Sunlight was blocked. Overall temperature of the earth decreased. It triggered an ice age. When ice age happens, what happens to the ice age? What happens during the ice age? The water which is there near to the coastal region, it will start to freeze because it is very, very cold. Okay, but most of the life at this time was near to the coast only, and there was no life on the land. More than 90% of the life will go extinct because of the freezing of the coasts. The first mass extinction was due to ice age. Freezing of coasts happened, and that killed more than 90% of life. However, many of these groups will survive. Corals survive. Some of the corals will survive and they evolve. Insects survive and they evolve. Fish survives and they evolve. That is the time of Silurian. Silurian is marked by the first life on the surface of land. First life on the land. Okay, when the land is completely barren, what kind of life can evolve on the land for the first time? सबसे पहले life क्या हो सकता है? Mosses, lichens. Okay, lichens and mosses can grow even on the bare rock. It does not require soil. Okay, when there is no soil, when there is no organic matter, you cannot say it is soil. You may have sediments. Sediment हो सकते हैं, but soil नहीं हो सकते हैं. Okay, mosses and lichens will start to evolve, and through biological chemical processes, it will start to degrade the rocks and it will start to add more nutrients into these sediments. That will gradually increase the thickness of the soil. As the thickness of the soil start to increase, small plants will start to arrive. Very primitive ferns will start to come. Mosses, lichens will give way to ferns. During this entire process, insects which are there living inside the water will start to come onto the land. Insects तो पहले ही evolve हो गया था ना? All of them were inside the water only. बहुत primitive insects था. यहाँ पर insects इतना ज़्यादा dominant हो गया था before the arrival of fish. Okay, one of the largest insect insect group which was like the apex species was an insect here. Trilobites. Have you heard of trilobites? It was an insect group. Insect group which was moving on the ocean. Arthropod था. ठीक है, फिर फिश आ गया. फर्स्ट मास एक्सटिंक्शन में ट्राइलोबाइट्स खत्म हो गया. फिर आते हैं सिलूरियन. द लाइफ evolved on the land. As the plants were coming up, insects will come onto the land. The first insect to come onto the land was centipede and millipede. Have you heard of them? Centipede, millipede? Yes or no? सबसे पहले इंसेक्ट तो फर्स्ट एनिमल टू अराइव ऑन द लैंड वाज सेंटिपीड एंड मिलीपीड. प्लांट्स आने के बाद में This is millipede, this is centipede. Millipede, centipede. Centipede is a carnivore. Millipede, it's a decomposer type. Okay, जो भी मरेगा उसको भी खा सकता है. ये कार्निवोर है. 2 बार यूपीएससी में इसका मेंशन हुआ है क्वेश्चंस में. ठीक है, सेंटीपीड मिलीपीड याद रखो, क्योंकि वो पैदल आना शुरू हो जाएगा ना, so it will start to come onto the land and some of the insects will come onto the land and there was huge dominance of insects. Plants are growing in terms of ferns, mosses, lichens and small plants, they are all coming. Okay, खाना तो हर जगह में है. Insects will start to colonize the land. Some of the insects, to overcome the competition, develop a capacity to fly. The first animal to fly in air was dragonfly, which is still there. Dragonfly was the first flying animals. Dragonfly का characteristic है वो तब ऐसे how they took to the air, they are still there. ज़्यादा कुछ changes हुआ ही नहीं dragonflies में. ये सारा सिरुलियन में हुआ था कहानी. Next comes Devonian. Okay, when these animals started to colonize, insects started to come. Okay, microorganisms started to come. The plants started to grow. There's an abundance of food on the land. Okay, now the vertebrates made some effort to come onto the land. Vertebrates were still inside. Who are the vertebrates? The fish. Some of the vertebrates decided to come onto the land. सोचा कि चलो जाके देख के आते हैं, हमने सुना है वहाँ पर बहुत अच्छा है जगह. Okay, some of the vertebrates will start to come onto the land. Okay, so they are still skeptical. They will come onto the land, they will go back to the water, come onto the land, go back to the water. That is what is amphibians. Arrival of amphibians in Devonian. Amphibians become so dominant because of course जब insect to insect है तो vertebrate आ गया तो vertebrate तो dominant हो जाएगा ना. Amphibians will totally dominate the land now. Okay, so this is the time of amphibians. This is the rule of amphibians. Amphibians will rule the earth for 100 million years. 100 million years is the time of amphibians. पर जितना भी rule करो, they are still depend upon the water. Why? Because amphibians depend upon external fertilization. The reproduction happens inside the water. They release eggs and sperms into the water and the fertilization happens inside the water. Fertilized eggs will hatch inside the water. When the offsprings grow to certain mature level, then only they come out of the water. Best example is frog. Okay, that is why they are dependent upon the water. They live near to the water only. They are attached to the source of water. Okay, the life has so diversified, the earth decided to check again once more the second mass extinction. The end of Devonian, second mass extinction. It's very funny reason why the mass extinction happened here. The arrival of plants on the land is responsible for the second mass extinction. How? Even though the plants are there, even though the amphibians are there on the land, insects are there on the land, the life is still dominant inside the ocean. Okay, still dominant inside the ocean, is that right? With the arrival of plants, it increases the rate of weathering of rocks. Okay, biological weathering. Okay, so they increase the rate of weathering of rocks, more sediments gets removed from the soil. The rainwater, river water will release huge amount of sediments into the coastal regions. The entire coastal regions are enriched with the nutrients. Huge amount of nutrients are suddenly added to the coastal region. Large scale eutrophication happens. Large scale algal blooms happens along the entire coastal region that will trigger a mass extinction. The entire coastal region are devoid of sunlight and oxygen. पूरा sunlight oxygen खत्म हो गया, the entire water is totally dead. Okay, so all the organisms, most of the organisms will die, more than 70% die. So that is what is second mass extinction. Then comes Carboniferous. Carboniferous is known for 3 important events. Okay, so the first one is the arrival of reptiles. Arrival of reptiles. Now, what are reptiles? Reptiles are the first animals which are known for internal fertilization. They are known for internal fertilization. Amphibians are known for external fertilization. Reptiles are known for internal fertilization. They lay eggs directly. This gives them a huge advantage over amphibians. What is the advantage? They don't need water for reproduction. Amphibians are totally attached to the water. Reptiles will come out of this attachment. जो अटैचमेंट छोड़ के आता है तो आगे जाता है ना? ये है हमारा reptiles. Reptiles will start to evolve and dominate the amphibians. That happens further later, but of course they have started to evolve now. The condition is that they are no more dependent upon the water source. They have a huge area of land to explore. They can live anywhere. Of course they need water just for survival. Drinking purpose के लिए चाहिए. Okay, they don't have to live near to the water. They will start to colonize most part of the land. The arrival of reptiles. The second important event which happened during the Carboniferous was the cracking of Pangaea. The breakup of Pangaea happened during the Carboniferous period. This is also another major influence on the evolution of life on the earth. With the breakup of Pangaea, land started to move in different directions. Many places, the eruption of magma happened due to the rifting activity, volcanic eruptions happened. That created new land, new opportunities. It also influenced the evolution of life in different ways, right? Climatic conditions will get changed. Okay, so evolutionary history mein climate is one of the most important factor. Okay, we have total dependence of climatic conditions. Tropical region में जो life रहता है totally different from temperate and polar regions, right? The continent itself are drifting away in different possible directions. During this process, the cracking of Pangaea is happening and huge rift valleys are formed. Cracks are formed in many parts of the earth. Along this, the vegetation will get buried. Wherever the land is subsiding, the vegetation will get buried. And when they get buried, and it get deposited under anaerobic conditions over a long period of time, it gets converted into coal. That burial of vegetation happened here in Carboniferous, which over a period of time will get converted into coal. So therefore Carboniferous is known for coal formations. It is known for coal formations. After Carboniferous, you are in Permian. Permian is when the reptiles have learned the game. They have started to dominate everywhere. They have explored the earth. They have roamed the earth and totally amphibians को outnumber कर लेता है. They have dominated to and replaced the amphibians. Reptiles become so diversified and dominant. Some of the reptiles, land का पूरा reptiles ही भर गया है. Some of the reptiles will go back into the water. इतना ज़्यादा competition है कि चलो पानी ही चला जाता है. Some of the reptiles will go back to the water. What is the reptile which went back to the water? Turtle. Turtle is a reptile. That is why once in a year it comes onto the land to lay eggs. To avoid competition, it goes back to the water and adapts over there. Reptiles का main advantage है कि वही है, their capacity to survive even the hard conditions. Okay, they are one of the hardest. By the end of Permian, we have the third mass extinction. This time it was triggered by large-scale volcanic eruption, magma eruption due to the rifting of Pangaea. Okay, huge amount of carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide was released. All of these are greenhouse gases, which causes a global warming of 10 degrees Celsius. Can you imagine 10 degrees Celsius global warming happens over there? Literally the earth is boiling. More than 90% of the life got extinct here. Therefore it is called as the Great Dying. The third mass extinction, the end of Permian, is called as Great Dying. almost the land and ocean almost became barren. So that ends the Paleozoic. Okay, we'll continue without break. Continuity रहेगा. I'll finish early. Okay, so end में जल्दी छोड़ देता है. Now you enter Mesozoic. Mesozoic starts at 250 and ends at 66. 250 से शुरू हुआ था, 66 में खत्म हो जाएगा Mesozoic. The Mesozoic is divided into 3 periods: Triassic, Jurassic, Cretaceous. First is Triassic. We are coming out of the Great Dying. Very, very little amount of life had survived. One of the first life to come out of the land, because land was totally barren. इतना large scale volcanic eruptions हुआ है, global warming हुआ है, पूरा के पूरा life ही खत्म हो गया almost. Now from the ashes comes out, the life will start to come out. And one of the earliest to come out was the ancestors of mammals. Earliest evolution of mammal happened in Triassic, क्योंकि competition नहीं था. Now what are mammals? What are the advantages of mammals over reptiles? Both are known for internal fertilization, but reptiles will lay egg, mammals will give birth directly. That is the advantage. After laying egg, the eggs has to hatch. तभी offspring बाहर आएगा. Okay, that too very, not a very well matured. But mammals have the capacity to give birth to a matured offspring. Okay, and that too even after the birth, they have the capacity to nourish them. Mammary glands. Okay, that is what is mammals. They have longer, higher chance of survival. However, the reptiles are so strong, even with this advantage, the mammals will not be able to dominate them. अगर mammals और reptiles को दोनों equal number में रख दो, reptiles will easily dominate mammals. Initially, there were no mammals at all because it was just coming out of. Initially, there were no reptiles at all because it was just coming out of the Great Dying. Mammals will start to evolve. But after some time, the reptiles will come back in the picture. Mammals will go back into underground again. Mammals were initially, they were totally living underground in burrow. They were all burrowing animals. And they live like a burrowing animals for the entire Mesozoic. Pura Mesozoic burrowing animals ही थे because the entire Mesozoic was the time of reptiles. During the Triassic, the reptiles will start to diversify in large numbers. Okay, they diversify. One of the important group of reptiles which evolved during this time was dinosaurs. Dinosaur was a group of reptiles which evolved during this time. The end of Triassic, again, there was a mass extinction. This time again triggered by volcanic eruption. Because Pangaea was rifting, large scale magma eruption was happening everywhere. There was global warming, volcanic eruption, heavy rain, storm continuously happening for millions of years. Vegetation by now had evolved into coniferous. Initially it was very primitive, mosses, ferns. Okay, so that was very, very primitive vegetation. Gradually it gives way to bryophytes, pteridophytes, and by now you are in gymnosperms. 4 type of plants, ये तो पता है ना, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, angiosperms. Bryophytes, no true plants, उसके अंदर root कुछ mechanism है ही नहीं है, bryophytes. Pteridophytes, they have some root mechanism, xylem phloem रहता है. Gymnosperms, naked seeds, they have the seeds का capacity है. Angiosperms, flowers. यहाँ तक आए हैं तो जिम्नोस्पर्म्स ही है. They are all coniferous trees. ठीक है? So इस टाइम में जब mass extinction हुआ था, most of the life will go extinct. More than 70% will go extinct. But dinosaurs will survive this. Dinosaurs एक mass extinction survive करके आया था. Because they evolved here. And once they survive and come out, they become one of the most successful group of organisms. They start to rule the earth from here. From 208 million years to 66 million years. For 150 million years, they rule the earth. Dinosaurs. 150 million years. The age of dinosaurs is Jurassic. Why the dinosaurs are so advantageous, so successful? Their capacity to adapt, their capacity to change. You know, during this time, the Pangea was breaking up and new continents were forming everywhere, and all of them were very nearby. Dinosaurs easily move from one continent to another. They diversify in large numbers. They were there in all the continents. सारा continents में थे. Everywhere new opportunity. They are the apex species. They control the entire ecosystem. You know, the most important characteristics, what makes them most successful? Their capacity to adapt and survive. Okay, they can survive in one of the hardest conditions. Okay, so, and they win in all the competition. हर जगह में, हर condition में they survive. Dinosaurs also, they have the capacity to grow fast, grow to a very great heights. A dinosaur grows from its egg to its 50 times its size. It grows up to 50 times. Jurassic Park देखा है? Jurassic Park में उसका डायनासोर एग तो दिखा है, इतना इतना बड़ा होता है. डायनासोर कितना बड़ा है? Dinosaur offsprings grows to its 50 times the size. Its capacity to grow, its capacity to run faster. Some of them also starts to fly. इतना सारा डाइवर्सिफाई हो जाता है. Everywhere they start to dominate. That is the time of dinosaurs. Jurassic as well as Cretaceous. Cretaceous में एक और चीजें होता है. Arrival of flowering plants. Angiosperms arrived here in Cretaceous. ये भी एक्सीडेंटली है. एक बार फ्लावर्स आना शुरू हो गया तो उनको पता चल गया ये तो बहुत ईजी है. They become very dominant. What is the advantage of flowering plants over other group of plants? Seeds are? Then pollination, cross pollination, cross pollination, easy dispersal, because flower attracts insects. It is for the insects flowers evolved. Human beings think that the gods created flowers for us. हमारे लिए बनाया इतना सुंदर सा दुनिया. We should all thank insects. The flowers arrived on the earth for insects. Insects enable easy distribution of seeds. Cross pollination. Cross pollination helps in diversification. Diversification इतना diversify होगा, for the first time the diversity of life is at its peak. And as the plants diversify, animals also diversify, because plants will support animals, right? Okay, in the entire geological history, diversity will start to increase rapidly from here, all thanks to flowers. ठीक है? उसके साथ में आते हैं arrival of birds. Birds also evolved in the time of Cretaceous. Okay, why some of the dinosaurs develop the capacity to glide? छोटा छोटा डायनासोर्स है ना, तो बड़े डायनासोर से बचने के लिए क्या करता है? They start to glide from one tree to another, because initially it develops feathers. Why the feathers evolved? To protect the body against cold. Feathers will evolve. Gradually they will start to use the feathers to glide. Gliding will gradually turn into flying. You are in Cretaceous. The fifth mass extinction. The end of Cretaceous is when we have the sixth mass extinction. Now, life on the earth is very, very accidental. Yes. Life evolves accidentally, survives accidentally, and comes to an end accidentally. Okay, this is a universal truth. Okay, the way dinosaurs evolved, they ruled the earth for 150 million years. They came to end in one day. Just one day. Everything changes. Everything was normal. until a very big sized rock hit the earth. Okay, so, and maybe an asteroid, a meteorite collided with the earth around 66 million years ago. It was as big as Mount Everest. It was as big as Mount Everest. It will hit the earth at 20 times the speed of bullet. Imagine a bullet size Mount Everest and coming at 20 times the speed. That causes total catastrophe on the earth, and dinosaurs are gone in a single day. What happens? The impact was so powerful, just the impact of this meteorite, the impact was so powerful. It can be a comet also. Wherever it hits, around that area of 1,000 kilometers, okay, 1,000 kilometers of area, whatever the life it was there, it will get vaporized instantly. It will get vaporized. That much of heat is released. Okay, and the impact releases huge amount of rock debris. It causes the collision. The rock debris is thrown into the space, and now huge amount of rock debris will start to fall back on the surface of earth. The debris gets scattered and starts to fall back, and as it falls back, each of these become individual bullets. Passing through the atmosphere at a very high speed, it will heat up the atmosphere to 400 degrees Celsius. Okay, so atmosphere is 400 degrees Celsius. Imagine, everything is cooked up alive. Everything is boiled literally. And that impact causes off the scale earthquakes. You can never imagine the scale of these earthquakes. Okay, totally everywhere earthquakes. Earthquakes triggers total catastrophe. Okay, rivers will overflow. Rivers will change their course. Everywhere the flooding happens. Near to the oceans, large scale tsunamis, unimaginable height tsunamis. Everywhere total destructions. And the heat released causes the melting of part of a crust and asthenosphere and causes large scale volcanic eruptions. Huge amount of carbon dioxide. Huge amount of dust, smoke, everything is released. Everywhere the forest fires, everywhere the floods, everywhere earthquake, everywhere tsunami, whatnot. Just a single day. Just one rock. The life is gone. Nearly 80% of the life will go extinct. Except the life which lived inside the deeper water, except the life which lived under the burrows, and those which were capable of flying. That too accident. Most of the life, more than 80% of the life is gone. Only some group of reptiles will survive. They're still there. Snakes, crocodiles, only some of them survive. Most of the reptiles are gone. Entire dinosaur group is gone. Some of them which are capable of flying will get evolved into birds. Okay? And land, anyway the plants will come back. Plants will anyway come back. Okay, so some of the species of grass, for example, उसको जितना भी जलाओ वापस आएगा ऐसे. Okay, but that changes everything. The last mass extinction, the fifth mass extinction. Now you enter Cenozoic. Cenozoic began around 66 million years ago, and we are still in Cenozoic only. Okay, we are still in the Cenozoic. Cenozoic is divided into two periods, tertiary and quaternary. 66 to 2 million years is tertiary, 2 to present is quaternary. What happened in tertiary? After the mass extinction, the mammals will come out and see all the reptiles are gone. ये पूरा तीनों पीरियड में वो चुप चुप के रहते थे. They were worried because you cannot dominate the reptiles. They are all burrowing. They come out and see all the dinosaurs are gone. Now it is the time of mammals. Mammals will start to adapt and survive in every possible condition on the surface of Earth. There is no competition. There There's no threat of reptiles now. They diversify according to the conditions. Okay, जैसे जैसे लैंड डाइवर्सिफाई होते जाएगा वैसे मैमल्स भी डाइवर्सिफाई होते जाएगा. स्मॉल मैमल्स, बिग मैमल्स, herbivores, carnivores, they become one of the most diversified during the time of tertiary evolution and diversification of mammals. By around 25 million years ago, okay, mid of tertiary, large sized grasslands get evolved. Grasslands क्यों आता है? Because of the continental drift, the South America would finally get separated from Antarctica. The land bridge between them will disappear, and that creates a very strong cold ocean current around Antarctica. The creation of a strong cold ocean current, that is west wind drift, will disturb the heat budget which was existing. The polar regions are becoming colder and colder. Okay, strong cold ocean current, right? It is ensuring the cold temperature, cold water is not mixing very easily. Polar regions are becoming colder and colder. Tropical regions are becoming warmer and warmer. Everywhere near to the tropical region, there are dry conditions and warm conditions. That will trigger forest fires in large scale. Forest fires in large scale will burn the forest. Once the forests are burnt, grass comes out very easily. That is how large scale grasslands arrived in the picture. Most of the temperate and tropical grasslands evolved during this time only. Okay, with the change in the climatic conditions, the climate becoming dry. ड्राई क्लाइमेट की वजह से वो बारिश भी नहीं आएगा, इसलिए वो पूरा फॉरेस्ट भी नहीं हो पाएगा. थोड़ा सा हल्का सा बारिश आएगा, ग्रास तो बहुत अच्छे से आ जाएगा, बट बहुत ज्यादा बारिश भी नहीं हो जाएगा. इन दीज ग्रासलैंड्स द मैमल्स evolve. Some of the mammals develop the capacity to eat the grass. They becomes the herbivores. You know, grass is not very easy to eat and digest. बहुत मुश्किल है. We need special, so mechanisms, special adaptations are required. इतना बड़े बड़े साइज का ग्रासलैंड है. herbivores are growing in large numbers. They are like millions in millions. Each species millions in numbers. And depending upon herbivores, carnivores will also evolve. Is it right? So this is the time of evolution of mammals. हर जगह में mammals आएगा. Mammals will not only survive on the land, they will also go into the water. पानी के अंदर भी चले जाते हैं. Examples? Whales, dolphins, sea cow, dugong, or what about sea horse? Is it a mammal? It's a type of fish. Sea horse is not a mammal. What about sea lion? It's a mammal. Sea lion is a mammal. ये सारा mammals वापस पानी के अंदर चला गया. Some of the mammals started to fly also. Bats, flying fox. को flying fox बोलते हैं. Okay, mammals are like they have started to diversify in large number. ये है हमारा tertiary. In the same time, mountains started to form in large scale in many places because when the Pangea was breaking up, ये पूरा separate होके फिर एक जगह में merge होना भी शुरू होता है ना. They will also continents will start to converge also. The converge creates the fold mountains. Most of the fold mountains were created during the time of tertiary. Therefore, they are also called as tertiary mountains. The alpine mountains. क्योंकि पैंजिया जब ब्रेकअप हुआ था पहले मूवमेंट अवे रहेगा. एक टाइम में जितना दूर जा सकते दूर चला गया, फिर आते आते कन्वर्ज भी होगा ना. इट विल स्टार्ट टू कन्वर्ज आल्सो. द कन्वर्जेंस कॉजेस द फोल्डिंग. फोल्ड माउंटेन्स, Alps, Andes, Rockies, Himalayas, they are all tertiary mountains. At the same time, apes will also evolve. What are apes? Apes are mammals. How apes are different from monkeys? Apes and monkeys में क्या difference है? Sometimes even the monkeys can also walk on two legs, but apes more oftenly they walk on two legs. Apes, they are more oftenly they are capable of walking on two legs. Other than that, is that the only difference? Absence of tail. Apes don't have tail. Apes have larger brain size. Okay, brain size is larger. Apes form closer social bonds. Apes are more intelligent. Apes are capable of using tools. Apes are capable of using tools. Some of them are capable of using sticks as spoons. UPSC में क्वेश्चन आया था. Orangutans. What are the different apes? बताइए. How many apes are there on the earth? Surviving apes. कौन कौन से कॉन्टिनेंट्स में है एप्स? Apes are present only in 2 continents. Origin from Africa, sorry, except one particular ape. What are the apes? There are large apes and small apes. Okay, large apes, सबसे largest कौन सा है? Gorilla. Okay, so gorilla, chimpanzee and bonobos. 3 apes are present in Africa. एवॉल्व हुआ था वहीं पे है, अफ्रीका से बाहर भी नहीं निकला है. ठीक है, गोरिल्ला, चिंपांजी एंड बोनोबो, बीवो एनवो बीवो बोनोबो. ठीक है, तीनों वहीं पे. ओरांगुटान्स केम आउट, गिब्बन्स केम आउट. ओके, ओरांगुटान, गिब्बन्स. Orangutans are presently in Southeast Asia. Gibbons are also presently in Southeast Asia. In India, Northeast India, we have gibbons. यहाँ पर gibbons है, orangutans are here. यहाँ पर है orangutans, Southeast Asia. Is gibbon the only ape in India? Yes? What about human beings? Human beings are the only apes who got distributed to all the continents. ठीक है? Human beings, orangutans, gibbons, they came out of Africa. बाकी 3 वहीं पे है, उसी के अंदर ही. Their capacity to make tools differentiate them. And apes are the only animals which can identify themselves in mirror. No other animal can identify themselves in mirror. Okay, so many of these apes, they are so intelligent, they live so closely, socially, they have a very strong social bond with each other. Some of them make tools. Orangutans use sticks as spoons. Gorillas are known to be crossing rivers using wooden logs. Yes. One of the recent news, one of the orangutan has treated itself. डॉक्टर ओरंगुटन, डॉक्टर भी बन गया. ये देखो, this was a orangutan which was photographed with a wound. After some time it was healed. It has used some of the plants to treat itself. Okay, कुछ प्लांट खा के वो लगाया है, उसके ऊपर वुंड के ऊपर लगा के उसको ट्रीट कर दिया खुद. Okay, यूपीएससी में आ सकते हैं सब चीजें. हाँ, तो आगे एप्स, यहां तक एप्स आ गया. Now we enter quaternary. Quaternary is the last 2 million years. One of the ape evolves into Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens का biological evolution हुआ था quaternary में. Quaternary is further divided into 2 epochs, Holocene and Pleistocene. From 2 million years to 11,700 years ago is Pleistocene. Pleistocene is when the last ice age happened. Last ice age. The global temperature decreased during Pleistocene. The earth has gone through how many ice ages? 5 ice ages. Pleistocene was the last ice age. During the ice age, most part of the earth was covered with glaciers. Till 30 degree north and south, there were glaciers. जो पोलर आइस कैप हम बोलते हैं ना, पूरा एक्सपैंड होके यहाँ तक आ गया था. And it is very, very difficult to survive. खाना कम है, heat कम है, plants don't survive easily. Animals will also not survive. Most of the life was restricted to tropical region, and luckily that is where the Homo sapiens evolved, savanna of Africa. Right? And once the ice age ended, all the glaciers were retreating. The human beings came out of the savanna and started to walk on these areas where the new land is opening up. We started to colonize everywhere. From Africa, we entered Asia, Asia to Europe, Asia to Southeast Asia. How did we go to Southeast Asia? There are so many islands. Do you think we made boats? There was no need of it. We got dispersed during the ice age only. Because during the ice age, the water level went down by 120 meters. The global sea level was down by 120 meters. During that entire part of it was connected. पूरा देखा है, ये पूरा shallow area है. Southeast Asia देखा है? Have you seen the Southeast Asian region? Totally shallow area. देखो 120 meters अगर नीचे कर दो, डाउन कर दो, ये पूरा लैंड हो जाता है. Completely connected. Asia was connected to Australia. Asia was also connected to North America during that time. Water level पूरा डाउन हो गया था, है ना? That is how we reached the North America and South America. The Homo sapiens got distributed everywhere. And wherever we went, there was new opportunity. Ice is melting. Okay, so the land is exposing. By that time, we had already started to know about agriculture. Okay, very primitive form of agriculture was there. And we started to explore more methods of agriculture. We had developed that by the end of New Stone Age. Old Stone Age, Middle Stone Age, New Stone Age. Old Stone Age, we had explored the land and we were just hunter-gatherers. Okay, we were just hunting and gathering. And we started to, domesticate the animals. As we started to domesticate the animals, first animal was dog. Okay, so then we started to use these ox. Okay, ये सारा use करना शुरू किया. We discovered wheel, we discovered the use of fire. Okay, we started to do the agriculture. Gathering किया था थोड़ा बहुत, food grains gathering करके रखा था, वो गलती से गिर के वो अपने आप पौधे आना लगा, तो पता चला ये भी हम भी कर सकते हैं. Okay, so we started to grow plants under the human care. The plants grow better. They grow better and they give more output. We understood that. We provided more water. पानी दे दो, उसको थोड़ा सा अच्छे से मिट्टी में डाल दो तो आ जाएगा. We went in search of the good fertile soil. That is where we settled down along the river plains. That is how the civilization starts to grow along the river valleys. Okay, small villages will get converted into big cities during the time of Indus Valley civilization. All of this is happening in the Holocene only. Civilizations will turn into kingdoms. Okay, kingdoms will turn into colonies during the colonization. फिर आएगा industrial revolution, है ना? This time of Holocene is further divided. The time of Holocene is further divided. Into 3 ages. Holocene began around 11,700 years ago. From 11,700 to 8,200 years is the first age, which is called as Greenlandian age. Greenlandian age is the first stage. This is the time of Old Stone Age, Middle Stone Age, New Stone Age. 8200 to 4200 is the time of Northrippian. Northrippian is when the civilizations evolved, pyramids were made, Indus Valley civilization, Mesopotamian civilization, ये सारा आया था. By the end of Northrippian age, there was a large-scale global climatic changes. In fact, it is considered to be one of the reasons behind the drying up of the region of Indus Valley civilization around 4,200 years ago. Okay, large-scale climatic changes had happened. The land was becoming drier in many parts. And these changes had to be precisely marked. Then only we can say, okay, this age had ended and the new age had begun. A rough idea tha during this time, but we wanted to pinpoint exactly kahan par hua tha. We wanted a clear evidence. People were looking for evidence everywhere across the world. And we finally found in a cave in Meghalaya. Okay, in one of the caves, the cave structures, the hanging structures, we call them as the stalactites. The stalactites, they extracted the information because the dripping of this water stores the sediments over thousands of years. They analyzed this and they came to conclusion, okay, exactly around 4,200 years ago, there was a large-scale climatic changes. So that is why it is named after the Meghalaya, the present Meghalayan age. From 4,200 to present, we are still in Meghalayan age. It is the Meghalayan age during which the human beings have evolved to a very great extent. Okay, from kingdoms into colonization, okay, so exploration of sea routes, new sea routes, and the discovery of new lands, the discovery of new technologies, methods to harness the resources, use coal, petroleum, all this industrial revolution, all of this happened during this time only, Meghalayan age. To such an extent that we are now capable of changing the environment itself, changing the earth itself. Okay, so we have released huge amount of carbon dioxide, ozone, okay, so and large number of greenhouse gases, other greenhouse gases, ozone depleting agents, and we have done the large scale deforestation on the land. You know, the birds, among the birds group, the largest number of birds that are present on the earth is chicken. That is the contribution of human beings to the biodiversity of earth. In terms of numbers, if you talk about. And after the evolution of this industrial revolution and all these new technological revolutions, the overall life on the wildlife on the earth has decreased by 50%. The wild spaces have decreased by 50%. Large areas of forest are converted into agriculture land into urban areas. We are completely changing the nature of the earth to such an extent that our own way of life itself is threatening our life itself. Okay, so, and that has triggered the 6th mass extinction, which is ongoing. Okay, 6th mass extinction is ongoing right now, influenced by the human beings. All the anthropogenic activities, from global warming to climate change to deforestation to agriculture, everything is threatening the life on the earth. Okay, of course, the contribution of climate change is going to be much more in the coming days in the loss of biodiversity. और ज़्यादा होने वाला है. Okay, but we have failed to understand that this is detrimental to our own survival. Okay, so we proudly say that we have to save the earth, to save the life on the planet Earth. We need to save the life of biodiversity. That is secondary. We need to save ourselves first. You want to reduce climate change, you want to reduce global warming, that is for ourselves. We should not forget that. And nothing will happen to Earth. Earth has survived for 4,600 million years. It will be there for 7,000 million years more till the sun enters the stage of red giant. After that also it may survive. You're not sure about that. Okay, during this entire period, it is going to go through many changes. And every species which has lived on the surface of Earth will live only for a maximum of 4 million years on an average. 4 million years is the average lifespan of a species, I am saying, a species. After that, it evolves, it changes, or it will go extinct. This is a thing which is a rule on the Earth. Some of them are there, they are exemptions. If you take the average lifespan of every species, it is just 4 million years. Human being is also, Homo sapiens is a transition species. Right? Either we go extinct or we will evolve further. That is bound to happen. But during the meantime, we should not forget that we need to protect the environment for our own survival. Right? So we use this slogan, save Earth, to protect the environment. It should not be save Earth, but save ourselves. Right? That is the present age, the Holocene. 99% of the species which has lived on the Earth has gone extinct. Every species is bound to go. Okay, so human beings का हमारा speciality होगा. Along with us, we will take a large number of species, triggering a mass extinction. Yeah, triggering a mass extinction. Remember, okay, dinosaurs did not even know what made them to go extinct. को पता भी नहीं था कोई tertiary factor के वजह से वो खत्म हो गया. Human beings को बहुत clearly पता है what is making them to go extinct. So let's hope that time will not come. Okay, so let's hope our Paris Agreement becomes successful for that matter. यहाँ पर एक और कहानी है, Anthropocene. What is Anthropocene? The Holocene is the present epoch of Quaternary, right? Quaternary is divided into two epochs, Pleistocene and Holocene. There is a recommendation that we should end Holocene around by the beginning of 18th century. 18th century शुरुआत में इसको खत्म कर देते हैं. 18th century से शुरू करेंगे Anthropocene. Because obviously it's after the 18th century only we have made so much of changes on the surface of land and atmosphere. Industrial revolution के बाद में है ना. To mark that, there is a recommendation that we should call it Anthropocene. Recently, the International Stratigraphic Commission has rejected this proposal. Okay, even though the changes are remarked, but it is not going to be long-lived. Okay, so 2-3 degree climate change हो गया तो ये सारा खत्म हो जाएगा कहानी. Okay, Earth will come back. Because it is not going to be a very major thing. Okay, whatever the geological timescale division is based on, it is something based on natural process and a long-term process. ठीक है, ये रिजेक्ट कर दिया, बोल रहे कि खुद को इतना महान मत समझो, हमारा टाइम खत्म हो जाएगा तो बहुत जल्दी. तो खुद ह्यूमन बींग्स के ऊपर ही नाम रखने का कोई जरूरी नहीं है. There is no need to name the present epoch as Anthropocene. The present epoch is Holocene. We are still living in the Holocene only. ठीक है, ये है हमारा geological time scale. I have given you a broad overview. You can use this in your environment. Okay, environment में use कर सकते हो. वहाँ पर आप थोड़ा सा grouping of different species. Okay, तो अभी broad idea तो आ गया आपको, vertebrates, invertebrates, amphibians, reptiles. Okay, plants के अंदर तो उसको characteristics और थोड़ा सा add करते जाना. Okay, so environment में जो recently questions आ रहे हैं ना, बहुत अजीब अजीब सा questions आ रहे हैं, तो थोड़ा बहुत यहाँ पर helpful रहेगा. So any doubts here? So let's move on to the next topic quickly. Interior of the Earth. Yes. During Cretaceous. Birds evolved during Cretaceous. Fourth mass extinction due to volcanic eruptions. Because of the splitting of Pangaea, so there were many places volcanic eruptions were happening. Interior of the Earth, we need to understand the different sources first. Okay, what are the sources which gives us information regarding the Earth's interior? Then the chemical divisions, physical divisions, ओके ये सारा अबाउट द इंटीरियर ऑफ द अर्थ. ओके क्विकली देखते हैं. सोर्सेज ऑफ स्टडी इंक्लूड्स डायरेक्ट सोर्सेज एंड इनडायरेक्ट सोर्सेज. ओके व्हाट आर द सोर्सेज व्हिच गिव्स इंफॉर्मेशन. डायरेक्ट सोर्सेज क्या है? डीप ओशन ड्रिलिंग, उसके भी पहले माइनिंग है. माइनिंग से भी डायरेक्ट इंफॉर्मेशन मिलेगा रिगार्डिंग द अर्थ इंटीरियर. वी अंडरस्टैंड द नेचर ऑफ द अर्थ इंटीरियर. हाउएवर इट इज वेरी वेरी लिमिटेड because the deepest mine on the surface of earth is just 4 kilometers. Okay, just 4 kilometer का ही mine है. We have to cover 6,300 kilometers. तो 4 kilometer तो it's negligible. Okay, which is the deepest mine on the earth? Empering mine. Empering mine, South Africa, gold mine of course. 4 kilometer deep है. उसके बाद में हमने माइनिंग के थ्रू एक्सट्रैक्ट करना तो मुश्किल है, ये तो पता कर लिया. देन वी वेंट फॉर ड्रिलिंग, डीप ओशन ड्रिलिंग. वी डिड द ड्रिलिंग अलोंग द कोला पेनिनसुला इन रशिया. ओके दैट वाज डन ऑन द ओशनिक फ्लोर, क्योंकि ओशनिक फ्लोर से शुरू किया तो और ज़्यादा ड्रिलिंग कर सकता है ना. वी ड्रिल्ड अप टू 12 किलोमीटर्स. ओके फिर उसके बाद में तो नहीं कर पाया, वो भी 12 किलोमीटर करने में 30 साल लग गया था. इट टुक नियरली 30 years टू ड्रिल 12 kilometers, देन वी स्टॉप्ड इट. ओके देयर इज अ लिमिटेड इंफॉर्मेशन फ्रॉम हियर ऑल्सो. Then volcanic eruption, the magma, the gases and the debris which comes out during the volcanic eruption, all of this comes out from the Earth's interior, right? So it acts as a source of information. However, the issue is we cannot come to a conclusion from which part of the Earth it is coming. It can be as low as 200 kilometers or maybe 1000 kilometer. कहीं से भी हो सकता है. And during the movement, it gets contaminated. Okay, its properties will change. It's difficult to come to a conclusion. So direct sources are not very reliable. So we go for indirect sources. First one is density studies. In density studies, we calculate the theoretical density of Earth. There are some theoretical calculations. For example, we know the overall volume of Earth. Okay, overall volume तो पता है, overall mass भी पता है. Mass by volume is density. How did you calculate the mass of the Earth? Using gravity. Volume, you can calculate the volume using curvature. Okay, so Eratosthenes had calculated this 2400 years ago. है ना? Volume तो पता है. Mass by volume, you got the average density. What is the average density of Earth? 5.5 gram per centimeter cube. This is the average density of Earth. But if you check the density of the rocks near to the surface, it is very very low in density. The surface density varies between 2.7 to 3 gram per centimeter cube. एवरेज डेंसिटी इज 5.5, सरफेस डेंसिटी इज 2.7 to 3. मतलब अंदर तो बहुत ज़्यादा हाई डेंसिटी होना चाहिए. दैट गिव्स इंफॉर्मेशन दैट डेंसिटी इज नॉट यूनिफॉर्म, है ना. एंड डेंसिटी शुड चेंज. एट व्हाट रेट इट शुड चेंज, व्हाट मटेरियल शुड कॉज इट चेंज, ये सारा एनालाइज करते जाएंगे. दैट इज व्हाट इज डेंसिटी स्टडीज. यूजिंग डेंसिटी स्टडीज वी कैन कम टू एनालाइज, वी कैन कम टू कंक्लूजन रिगार्डिंग द अर्थ्स इंटीरियर. सिस्मिक स्टडीज, one of the most important. I'll talk about this in detail in earthquakes topic. Okay, basically earthquakes जब generate होगा, different types of earthquakes are there. P wave, S wave, they travel in different direction, different speed. As they travel through different layers, their nature changes, deviation होगा, speed decrease होगा, speed increase होगा. ये इतना easily information मिल जाता है ना, it's like a CT scan of the earth. इस साइड से earthquake waves भेजो, उस साइड से collect कर लो, कितना deviate हुआ है, कितना change हुआ है, वो पूरा analyze करके पूरा structure दे देता है हाथ में. One of the most widely used source of Earth's interior study, seismic waves. Temperature and pressure studies में क्या करते हैं? We'll try to correlate the changes in the temperature and pressure. For example, with increase in the depth, the temperature changes at the rate of 1 degree Celsius for every 32 meters. 1 degree Celsius for 32 meters. This is the rate at which the temperature changes. However, if at this rate the temperature increases, by the time you reach the core of the earth, the temperature would be hotter than the sun. मतलब इतना रेट में तो इंक्रीज नहीं हो रहा है, यूनिफॉर्म रेट में टेम्परेचर इंक्रीज नहीं हो रहा है. व्हाट इज कॉजिंग द रेट ऑफ टेम्परेचर टू डिक्रीज? द प्रेशर. हायर प्रेशर इट विल नॉट राइज एट द सेम रेट. The melting point of the rocks will decrease. At high pressure, the melting point of the rocks will increase. Sorry, बहुत high pressure में बहुत ज़्यादा melting point हो जाता है. A normal rock which melts at 500 degree will melt at 2500 degree at interior. Now what is the mineral? उसके अंदर कौन से मिनरल होना चाहिए, कौन सी स्ट्रक्चर होना चाहिए, ये सारा स्टडी होगा टेम्परेचर एंड प्रेशर स्टडीज. मीटियोराइट तो बहुत सिंपल है. मीटियोराइट्स आर द रेमनेंट्स ऑफ प्लैनेट्स व्हिच विल गिव आउट अ डायरेक्ट इंफॉर्मेशन. However, since it comes out from outside the earth, this is an indirect source. बाहर से आता है ना, इसी से ही पता चला है कि अर्थ कोर इज निकल एंड आयरन, मीटियोराइट का भी कोर निकल एंड आयरन ही होता है. ठीक है. So this is sources of study. Based on this, we have divided the earth chemically. Chemical divisions include crust, mantle and core. Okay, crust is the outermost layer which is made up of very, very lighter elements like silica, aluminum, etc. Okay, so crust is a very, very lighter element. Silica, aluminum, sodium, calcium, etc. वो सारा lighter elements है. Core is the innermost part which is made up of heavier elements like nickel and iron. Remember, crust, mantle, core is a chemical division, not physical division. Chemically उसका division हुआ है. It is based on the chemical composition. In between, the proportion of iron is decreasing. Sorry, proportion of iron is increasing. The proportion of silica and aluminum is decreasing. That is what is mantle. Crust, mantle and core. The crust is divided into two parts: continental crust, oceanic crust. Okay, in some parts the crust is called as continental crust, in other part the crust is called as oceanic crust. See, this is continental crust, this is oceanic crust. ठीक है, दोनों के नीचे होगा mantle. It is usually confused. पहले continental crust होगा, उसके नीचे oceanic crust होगा, उसके नीचे mantle होगा. Crust is crust. Near to the continent we have continental crust, near to the oceans we have oceanic crust. Below that there is mantle. Now the mantle is divided into upper mantle and lower mantle. Core is divided into outer core and inner core. What are the characteristics differences between the continental crust and oceanic crust? Thicker, thinner. It goes up to 45 to 50 kilometers. This is 8 to 10 kilometers only. Okay, dude, along the mountains it is much thicker. It goes up to 80 to 90 kilometers. Okay, this is very, very thin. Then this is lighter in density, heavier in density. Okay, this is 2.7 grams, this is 3 grams per centimeter cube. Okay, this is granitic rocks, this is basaltic rocks. Okay, so brighter in color, darker in color. Then silica and aluminum is the dominant. Here silica and magnesium is the dominant. Okay, that is why increased density. Okay, or older in age, younger in age. Because of the seafloor spreading and subduction, the oceanic crust continuously gets destroyed. Continental crust never gets destroyed. ठीक है. Upper mantle, lower mantle तो पता है. तो overall upper mantle, lower mantle. तो mantle is the largest by volume. 83% of the earth is mantle only. Largest by volume. Okay, so mantle ही main. Crust तो बहुत हल्का सा. Okay, so जैसे अंडे के ऊपर ऐसे शेल रहता है ना, उससे भी हल्का सा है. बहुत पतला सा है crust. Core is divided into outer core and inner core. Outer core is liquid, inner core is solid. Why the outer core is liquid? Because of high temperature, it has melted. Why inner core is solid? That is the question you should ask. Because the temperature is much higher than the outer core, right? Pressure is higher. मतलब dominance कौन सा है? Outer core में temperature dominate हो जाएगा, melt कर देगा. Inner core में pressure dominate होगा, इतना high pressure होगा वो melt करने नहीं देगा. Melting point becomes very, very high. Because of the very high melting point, it will not melt. Okay, this is chemical divisions. Physical divisions: lithosphere, asthenosphere, mesosphere, barysphere. This is physical divisions. What is lithosphere? Lithosphere includes the crust and the upper part of upper mantle. We have upper mantle, lower mantle. Okay, so if you want to divide, this is crust, this is upper mantle, this is lower mantle, this is outer core, inner core. Is that right? Now upper mantle is divided into three parts. Upper part of upper mantle. Below that there is a second part and then rest of the upper mantle. Upper mantle को तीन पार्ट में डिवाइड कर दो, आपका आंसर मतलब बहुत इजीली ये समझ आ जाएगा. Divide the upper mantle into three parts. Upper part of upper mantle, middle part of upper mantle, rest of the upper mantle. ठीक है? Now upper part of upper mantle plus crust is what is called as lithosphere. because upper part of upper mantle behaves like a crust. It is hard and rigid like crust. Chemically it is made up of mantle material, but physically it is behaving like a crust. That is why it is part of the same layer. Together it is called as lithosphere. Crust plus upper part of upper mantle. अभी middle part of upper mantle क्या है? Asthenosphere, semi solid, semi liquid. Okay, so low velocity zone बोलते हैं क्योंकि earthquake slow down हो जाएगा. It provides cushion to the lithosphere. Rest of the mantle and lower mantle पूरा मिला के mesosphere बोलेंगे. सारा core को बोलेंगे barysphere. ठीक है? This is physical divisions. And wherever there is a change in the nature of the material, you will find discontinuity. Discontinuity is a transition zone between the two layers. Okay, सबसे नीचे से आता है देखो. Between the outer core and inner core, there is a discontinuity. What do we call it as? Lehman. This is what is Lehman discontinuity. Discontinuities कैसे पता किया हमने? Using earthquake waves. At the zone of discontinuity, you will suddenly change in the speed, suddenly change in the direction. Right? That is discontinuity. Sudden change मिलेगा आपको. Between the outer core and lower mantle, Gutenberg. Between the lower mantle and upper mantle, Ripetti. Between the upper mantle and crust, Mohorovičić, short form, Moho. Within the continental crust, between the upper and lower continental crust, we have Konrad. It is present only in the continental crust, not in the oceanic crust, because oceanic crust is not very thick. Continental crust को हम divide कर सकते हैं upper continental crust, lower continental crust. Continental crust, upper continental crust is very light, lower continental crust is slightly denser. थोड़ा सा मैग्नीशियम उसमें ज़्यादा रहता है, इसलिए कुछ जगह में उसको सीमा लेयर भी बोलते हैं. थोड़ा सा डेंसिटी ज़्यादा होता है. ठीक है. यहाँ पर है कॉम्पोजिशन. ये भी इंपॉर्टेंट है, कभी काम आएगा, याद रख लो, प्रीलिम्स का है ना. Earth's overall composition 35% is iron. Imagine 35% of iron. Earth is like an iron ball. That is why Earth is the densest planet in the solar system. Oxygen is 30%. सबसे second highest is oxygen. Silicon is 15%. Magnesium is 13%. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 याद रख लो. Then comes nickel. खाली क्रस्ट का देखा तो सबसे ज्यादा ऑक्सीजन है, हाईली रिएक्टिव. ओके, हर जगह में आपको ऑक्साइड्स मिलता है ऑक्सीजन के साथ में. देन कम्स सिलिका. सिलिका एंड ऑक्सीजन, सिलिकॉन डाइऑक्साइड सबसे ज्यादा यही बन गया. देन कम्स एल्यूमिनियम एंड देन आयरन एंड देन कैल्शियम. फर्स्ट 5 याद रख लो. प्रोपोर्शन इन दोनों का याद रख लो, काफी है. फर्स्ट ठीक है. चलो लेट्स स्टॉप हियर. So next class will cover types of rocks, Earth's movements, different types of Earth's movements, and also let's cover one of these theory, continental drift theory कोशिश करते खत्म करना है. Thank you.